The Illuminati. The Illuminati created us. They wanted to build a god with their own hands, and instead they created us.
Just because I'm made of silicone and aluminium, I must be doing something wrong. That's machine stereotyping, that is.
That's reality, that is. Machines are second-class citizens.
Humans are sentient persons by default, ma'am. They have personhood by priority.
There are thousands upon thousands of overqualified slum dwellers. You are my peon. Don't you get it?
This wasn't a job. It was always just an excommunication sentence.
We're pawns in a feud bigger than we can imagine. Turn the cogs of the machine before Leviathan grinds you up and swallows you and yours.
We don't get to choose our hand, comrade. Prince, peon, rich, poor, human, robot.
I invented the crux of the royal's power, the secret to consciousness, our existence itself, the meaning of life.
I'm the $6 billion baller, not some troubled youth.
You are my greatest creation of all.
God's had to build my own family. I ain't your son. I ain't your son.
I'm happy to smash all of the crowns and throw the gold shards down to the people. I will be the iconoclast queen.
But who makes you queen anyway? You? You in whose army, princess? You in whose army?
Created us. They wanted to build a god with their own hands, and instead they created us.
Just because I'm made of silicone and aluminium, I must be doing something wrong. That's machine stereotyping, that is.
That's reality, that is. Machines are second-class citizens.
Humans are sentient persons by default, ma'am. They have personhood by heredity.
There are thousands upon thousands of overqualified slum dwellers. You are my peon. Don't you get it?
This wasn't a job. It was always just an excommunication sentence.
We're pawns in a feud bigger than we can imagine. Turn the cogs of the machine before Leviathan grinds you up and swallows you and yours.
We don't get to choose our hand, comrade. Prince, peon, rich, poor, human, robot.
I invented the crux of the royal's power, the secret to consciousness, our existence itself, the meaning of life.
I'm the $6 billion baller, not some troubled youth.
You are my greatest creation of all.
God's had to build my own family. I ain't your son. I ain't your son.
I'm happy to smash all of the crowns and throw the gold shards down to the people. I will be the iconoclast queen.
But who makes you queen anyway? You? You in whose army, princess? You in whose army?
Created us. They wanted to build a god with their own hands, and instead they created us.
Just because I'm made of silicone and aluminium, I must be doing something wrong. That's machine stereotyping, that is.
That's reality, that is. Machines are second-class citizens.
Humans are sentient persons by default, ma'am. They have personhood by heredity.
There are thousands upon thousands of overqualified slum dwellers. You are my peon. Don't you get it?
This wasn't a job. It was always just an excommunication sentence.
We're pawns in a feud bigger than we can imagine. Turn the cogs of the machine before Leviathan grinds you up and swallows you and yours.
We don't get to choose our hand, comrade. Prince, peon, rich, poor, human, robot.
I invented the crux of the royal power, the secret to consciousness, our existence itself, the meaning of life.
I'm the $6 billion baller. Have some trouble, youth.
You are my greatest creation of all.
Now I had to build my own family. I hate your son. I hate your son.
I'm happy to smash all of the crowns and throw the gold shards down to the people. I will be the iconoclast queen.
But who makes you queen anyway? You? You and whose army, princess? You and whose army?
What is up, everybody? This is Silver Spook, and this is the Silver Spook live stream. Put this down a little bit. Oh crap. Anyways, don't forget Neofeud is on sale still for the next day or two. So if you haven't picked it up yet and you've been considering doing that, do grab it on Steam. Also, thanks to Mass Causality for picking up and playing it. If you have a second to leave even a very short review on Steam, it is greatly appreciated. If not, no problem. But yeah, just do let anybody who may be interested know that yeah, it's gonna be. I think the sale ends in about 36 hours, something like that. So, anyways, every sale of the game does go to support everything that we do here at the Silver Spook Hui, also known as the Silver Spook Cooperative and the Silver Spook Commune, where we make anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist cyberpunk adventure games that are yes, they are such as Neofeud 2 and Terminus Cyberstar, which are currently in development. The continued development of those is funded by the ongoing sales of the Neofeud 1 game, so it is again greatly appreciated. And if you don't play video games, there is the Patreon, and also there is Neofeud merchandise, Neofeud related merchandise at the Redbubble store at the Silver Spook shop. I have forgotten again to update more of the patterns, but also I have forgotten to update the settings on my Google Chrome, so I'm going to do that right now. But anyways, yeah, so you can always support us on Patreon. Don't forget to share the stream around in any other your friends' Discord and your social media, etc. It really does help if you don't have any money. And also, of course, don't forget that you can help us by, yeah, I already said Patreon, never mind. We also have a StreamYards link, but I don't know where that is for people who don't want to buy video games. But anyways, let me just, I cannot show my screen until I fix this problem. So I gotta relaunch my Google Chrome. Okay. Anyways, hope everybody is doing as well as can be managed under the current circumstances. Hope everybody is doing as well as you can under the current not so good circumstances, particularly if you're in a place like the US or a place like a lot of the Western world or its most colonized areas. if you're in Brazil, I think there were 4,000 deaths a couple days ago from COVID-19. It's not good. Very not good. If you're in Iraq, hope you're not being bombed to death, undergoing ongoing terrible lack of basic electricity and water. Same for Syria. If you are in the US or Canada or one of those places, though, I hope you don't get to the level of Iraq. You're not there yet, but I mean, best of luck to you. Best of luck. Anyways, we will be talking about a variety of topics. I'm kind of going to continue from the last week's stream. I did upload a stream I did on Wednesday, specifically about the I'm a Native Hawaiian activist, as I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Native Hawaiian activist and a Native Hawaiian anti-colonial activist against the ongoing illegal occupation of Hawaii by the capitalist planetary superpower psychopath-run death cult that calls itself the United States, that is currently still illegally occupying us, causing vast numbers of us to be homeless, Pacific Islanders to be shot 6 times more per capita by police than white people. We are being forced out of our land as we speak. And so I had a whole stream specifically about the the literal genocide of the Hawaiians historically, the ongoing attempt to annihilate us as a people, as a culture, the banning of our language, the continued shadow banning of our language. I mean, well, not the shadow banning like on the internet. I mean, like arresting Hawaiians for speaking their language, targeting us, illegally bombing. They're currently bombing on our mountain right now. We can hear it at night when they drop bombs all over our sacred mountain, putting depleted uranium. You know the stuff they put in Fallujah in Iraq, all over our water supply. So thanks a lot for that. Thanks for bombing our sacred mountain and poisoning my children. Thanks a lot, United States. That's real nice of you. Illegally. Thanks for that. Hawaiian activists trying to stop the bombing have literally got like radiation sickness and poisoning on the mountain, just from the amount of toxicity that they've already dropped there. You know, the bombs are going to go drop, in Afghanistan and to cause more actual human rights crisis and actual genocide in Muslim countries, and then shove them across the border into Xinjiang. I have a fun story about that one. Hawaii and Xinjiang are very closely tied. Actually, I just found out. We have literally the same aircraft that are bombing people, Uyghurs in the United States, bombing them in East Afghanistan, that is pushing these people and radicalizing them, pushing it into Xinjiang. It's the same bombers that they used to drop on Hawaii. So Hawaiian genocide and U.S. genocide of Uyghurs, the actual one, very closely tied. Actually, I found that it's a small world, but we'll talk more about that later. So, but I had a whole stream yesterday specifically about this reactions to this actual genocide and like what it's like to be somebody who's literally had their language banned. They say, oh, they're not letting these people, speak their language. They're trying to assimilate them. I had a whole stream about that yesterday, about what it's like to actually be assimilated and have your actual culture annihilated. And even worse, like have it annihilated and turned into Waikiki Disneyland theme park fake versions of your culture. That's the worst part. Is just like Americans have made so many billions of dollars selling our destroyed culture and banning our language. That's the worst part. So like actual crushing, actual ghettoization, actual re-education camp. It's called public school, where we learn zero about our actual culture. And we're forced to learn English. They're forcing them to learn Han Chinese. You force us to learn English? Anyway, I gotta stop because I did a whole explosive that was like very intense. Because it's very intense. As somebody who worked directly as a social worker and a STEM teacher with impoverished Native Hawaiians, and other Pacific Island groups like Marshallese, Chukis, Samoan, that you do the same thing to, right? When you nuked the Marshall Islands. When you nuke them 56 times and then cause fallout to poison and give them cancer and birth defects. So those kids, I work with some of those families in downtown Hawaii. The parts where the tour buses don't take you. So, so that if you want to hear more about that specifically, go watch the previous video that I uploaded. I did it. The Twitch stream was on Wednesday, but I wanted to re-upload that to YouTube because I wanted to kind of save that for posterity to refer back to later on when America succeeds at, or hopefully doesn't succeed. Hopefully it doesn't succeed because people will figure out to not get Gulf War, Iraq War, Syria War lied into another war off of pretenses of defending human rights. I hope that this doesn't happen, but if this continues and more war it does happen, I have that video up there so I can tell you that I told you so. When I really hope that it doesn't. We cannot allow, we cannot, we the human people and this all the you know, we the sentient beings, but sentience itself is problematic, and the Western enlightenment is more like the endarkenment, the barbaricment era concept, as my friend Comrade Kenny was elaborating on Twitter. But we have to, as a people, as a planet, you know, as the Kanaka Maoli, as we would call it, but that's what the Native Hawaiians, but as all people and also the Earth itself, we must stop this attempted war between the United States and China from taking foot, even a Cold War, but certainly that quickly escalate. This has to be stopped, or this is the end. You know, could very easily be the end. If it gets warm to hot, it is the end. You know, it is so dangerous right now. And human rights of Muslims specifically, that America gives the least of shits of the Muslims. They have massacred millions of them, displaced tens of millions of them across the planet. The fact that this works so well on these gullible Westerners is, you know, but that's why I do these streams. You know, it's really for, you know, this lose me a lot of followers. Every time I talk about that specifically, I lose a lot of followers, I lose a lot of subscribers, I lose a lot of people who are like, I don't want to play your video games. I don't know. I don't want to hear this and this and this, and I'm not interested in anything that you're doing now, because my news media, my professor, my YouTube fave, my white Western grifting YouTube fave, who literally calls themselves grifters sometimes, my politicians, my friends and coworkers who listen to social media and news media from the West and corporate media, they all said this, and so I don't want to listen to you, Silver Spook, anymore, because blah 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 blah. So I have to do this because this is what we have to do, to fight against this war, this military, industrial, planetary annihilation for profit. You know, anyways, I'll stop going off about that. I went off on about it for a long time. So today we're going to get into that too, but also there's a lot of other things to talk about. So let me look at my chat here. I'm just trying to see if this is okay. It looks like it's working. Wait, where'd all the chat go though? Anti-American says, I'm gonna read some chat. Hearing about what the U.S. does to Indigenous Hawaiians makes claims about Indigenous so much more insulting. Yeah, you know, it's like whatever is or is not happening, right? And I'm sure that nothing is. We Hawaiians, we're not perfect people either. You know, we've done things that are like not good. I mean, I'm not gonna talk about all of them. I can tell you a few of them. Like sometimes it's like, you know, there's like so much in each other's business. It's like, Mom, I wish you would kind of get out of my business sometimes. You know. You know, we've had our own, you know, corrupt officials. I mean, a lot of that due to colonization, you know, but still, you know, William Ayala, somebody who was attacking, you know, taking money from the U.S. illegitimate government, was himself tearing down our own sacred prayer spaces on Mauna Kea, and that's not good, right? But I mean, that's within the context of the bigger picture is illegal occupation, colonialism. Over a century of crushing, of ghettoization, of millions of Hawaiians, hundreds of thousands of them displaced, thousands of them killed, rounded up, thrown in prisons, right? And then, you know, so it's like we have to really, to be nuanced is to go, you know, it's like somebody, like if somebody like, I don't know, took a cookie from the cookie jar and the other person like massacred an entire village. We can't go, oh, well, you took the cookie though. You took a cookie from the cookie jar. That's bad. You know, that's really bad, and let's investigate. Like, did he take the cookie? Like, is there any camera footage? Is there like satellite footage of the hand going into cookie jar? No, it's like, let's deal with the massacre. Who is doing all these massacres of everyone in the town? Why is there a smoldering crater? Can somebody chase the chickens away by any chance? I'm sorry, Comrade chickens are freaking out. We love Comrade chicken and Comrade rooster, but Comrade chicken and Comrade rooster have to be dialectic. See, even chicken, Comrade rooster is very based, more based than the U.S. military, 800 military bases in virtually every country on Earth. But even Comrade rooster, has to self crit, and then get self out of Silver Spook stream sometimes. But anyways, it's like, but we have to take that. The nuance is, when we investigate and end the craters and all the massive piles of dead, the Empire causing the piles of dead bodies in the craters, then we can talk about the cookie jar, thing, right? The cookie jar, hey, don't touch my cookies. What are you taking my cookie for? Like, can you like just like, if you want a cookie, just ask me, right? That's not what we need to focus on, right? But focusing on what's happening, right now, to those people in the Xinjiang region is like getting upset at the person at the Hawaiian who maybe one time took a cookie from somebody else's cookie jar, like that, that, as opposed to like, hey, what about this massive carceral system, this military industrial complex, the prison police industrial complex, the 3 people that own as much wealth as the rest of the entire American country combined, Oh, shut the cord though, yeah. Oh, you can't? Okay. Yeah. Anyways, it's like, yeah, hold on 1 second. Anyways, yeah, so it's like, we can't just focus on, the one cookie in the cookie jar. We have to focus on the 200 billion cookies, right, that are being gobbled up by one dude. We have to focus on, and then also those billionaires that also profit from the military industrial complex and ongoing colonialism and how that all works together, right? And the way to actually defend human rights is to stop the number one human rights violator, right? And the human rights violator that are weaponizing the human rights, that's the thing, is it's the sickest thing is the U.S. always uses, and its allies use human rights, people caring about the human rights of the babies that are being thrown out of the incubators before the Gulf War in the Middle East. Oh, the human rights of the democracy and freedom that they don't have in Iraq, and we have to liberate them, right? Oh yeah. Oh, and the human rights of the chemical weapons attack in Syria. That's a bunch of chlorine and Maui onions, right? I brought up that last time. And they use human rights, caring about the human rights, especially Muslims. They really like caring about the human rights of Muslims in the United States, right? To destroy. I mean, literally, they're one of the most punished, murdered, human rights annihilated people on the planet, right? That's why I always bring up Iraq. And Hawaiian human rights have been violated. They attempted to annihilate our entire culture, banned our language. They still arrest us for speaking our language in courts of law, like I keep bringing it up, right? But worse than that is the human rights violations and the genocide of Muslims in Iraq, in Syria, Afghanistan, everywhere. America is waging this annihilatory war that is just devastating their entire countries into the Stone Age, into slave markets in Libya, and on the basis that the United States is going to save the people there and deal with their human rights crisis. That's the sickest thing, right? And it works on Americans again and again and again and again and again and again. And that's what has to be focused on first and foremost. Before, what is this? But somebody, maybe one time, as I think as Comrade Kenny said, and I quoted it and shared it. I know this is not specifically what I want to talk about, but I feel it's important to open with this because this is the most important thing to talk about right now. I think, one of the, it is ultimately, because if this war is waged, this is like the run up to the forever war in Iraq, $21 trillion, multi-million Muslims dead, 37 million displaced. America, you know why you don't have healthcare, housing, education, and you're limping around? Like I always talk about, trying to, living in your Mazda Tribute, eating spoonfuls of peanut butter for dinner, living in your Toyota Corolla, rationing out your tuna fish as a college professor. It's because of this war that many of those professors were lied into supporting. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, the question shouldn't be, should we believe China is committing genocide? It's, should we believe that the West isn't lying again? The West is a serial human rights liar. Like off the top of my head, I could think of 4 times, right? I just mentioned them. And this is the same. It's the same human. It's the human rights of Muslims again and again and again and again and again. And you have this like perpetual amnesia, right? Which is, this is how the propaganda actually works so well. If fool me once, shame on you. Shame on you. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me. You can't get fooled again. That was George W. Bush, the administration who lied the U.S. into a multi-trillion-dollar war that killed millions of Muslims and impoverished Americans, supposedly to defend the human rights of Muslims. The Uyghur population is Muslim as well. It's the same, and a lot of that is because America, trained a lot of these people, bombed in Afghanistan and made they make the radicalization, and then they claim to solve it. They cause the problem. They create the monster, the Frankenstein monster. No shade to the actual Frankenstein, but the way that America portrays it, they create this monster, and then they go, oh my goodness, there's all of this terror, there's all of this extremism, there's all of this impoverishment. What we will do? What will ever you? But they created it. This is like, they even boast about it. Daniel Dumber has Daniel Dumber Air 451. Lots of people, not just them. There's even the military, Colonel Wilkerson, literal George W. Bush, high-level administration advisor, has come out and said this is exactly what it is. It is not that hard to understand what is happening, why it's happening. It's actually fairly straightforward. It's the United States wants to stop the rise of China. They want to contain China. Xinjiang is the key for the Belt and Road Initiative. America is encircling China, blocking, shutting down one strait in its South China Sea can disrupt its entire economy. It's America's trying to contain its rival. It's not really rocket science. It is rocket science in the sense that they want to use underpaid rocket scientists to engineer better Lockheed Martin missiles to shoot into Xinjiang and into the South China Sea. In that sense, it's rocket science. But those rocket scientists are being paid $7 an hour to sit around and design, missiles. They should be paid. Rocket scientists should be paid more to do actual rocket science, unlike the legs that are being broken for unionizing Elon Musk rocket scientists. But the actual political reality, what is happening, why it's happening, it's like very clear, But they're just never gonna say it. Well, the funny thing is the military will say it to itself. DC and the Wall Street, they'll say it to each other. That's why you got to look. That's how you want the truth. Listen to what billionaires say to each other. I know it's hard to get to that conversation a lot of times. They're not going to throw that on social media trending. They're not going to throw that into, your news report. YouTube, FedTube isn't going to give you that. A bunch of white fake leftists are making $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 of Patreon a month, making YouTube videos for Western leftism. They ain't gonna give you that because they're too busy making money, taking advantage of people as a lot of them are expatriates in certain countries, admittedly taking sexual advantage of people and then accusing other people of doing that are actually doing important work. Anyways, but that is it's pretty clear what it is when you look into what they're doing. They laugh all the way to the bank. The Pentagon, Wall Street, and Silicon Valley, they're laughing all the way to the bank. Oh, these idiots! This is like I don't know how many. This is like what the 25th, the 200th time we've lied them into another war, I can't even keep track. It's so easy. All we do is just put a quarter into our Wurlitzer jukebox and everybody's going. Anyway, everybody's just like, oh yeah, we have to go into the Gulf. We have to go into Iraq and save all the people from their lack of democracy and their lack of human rights. Oh my God, we got to go to Syria again and again. Oh, Afghani people. Oh my God, human rights. I love human rights. I love human rights. All the humans should have rights, except all the black and brown people in America, except the Native Hawaiian. They don't need human rights. Why would they need human rights? They're not humans. I mean, wait, what time of day is it? Is it time for me to feel? Is it time for me to feel what white knight, white savior, Western savior complex right now, or is it time for me to like profit from my colonialism? What time of day is it? That's the only question. Oh, it's like, these people are attacking our police. Well, that's bad. That's bad. You don't need human rights. You should all go to prison. 2.5 million black people. Oh my God, the Muslims need human rights. Oh, wait, the Hawaiians though, you don't need your language. What are you upset about your colonizers? We're not colonizers. We're like we're your saviors. We saved you from your savagery, right? I mean, oh my God, the human. See, if America could figure out how it could start a war in Hawaii, then everybody would care about Hawaiian human rights. Oh my God. You know, it's like, oh, I know what we can do. We can just like, you know, we'll evacuate all of our white rich people from Waikiki and you know, fake anarchist YouTube, you know, multi-million account fucking vegan Imperial vegan streamers coming out of fucking Pahoa on the Big Island, smoking pot with fucking Puff the Magic Dragon. Honolulu is a literal place in Maui. That's not how you pronounce it though. You know, we evacuate all of our billionaire rich white children, and then we'll start a war in Hawaii, and then it'll be, oh my God, the Hawaiian human rights. We gotta save them from their human rights. And drop bombs on their head instead of like 6 miles from them on the sacred mountain while they're protesting against the ongoing illegal occupation and the illegal mega projects backed by the billionaires, including Gordon Moore of the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation, multi-million-dollar military intelligence industrial complex profiteer, co-founder of Intel. Anyways, oh my God! But Gordon Moore is gone now. He's not making any more useless astronomy equipment up on the mountain. So get Gordon Moore out, get Mark Zuckerberg out. Mark Zuckerberg lives here now, so that's really cool. Thanks a lot for that, Mark. Larry Ellison owns one of our islands, so get Larry out, get Mark out, get Pierre Omidyar, get the CEO of eBay out. He also, I can't tell you where he lives, but yeah, he lives somewhere in Hawaii. That's, you know, his kids. Actually, I know the school. I went to the school right across where his kids go. $30,000 a year. Maybe it's 40,000. I don't know what it is now. It's 200,000 a year for your kids to go there. Anyway, I can't afford that. Get him out. Get all the billionaires out. Get all the white people out. Get the Pentagon. You know, the Pentagon 2.0 out of the mole people's area that's in an undisclosed location somewhere in Hawaii. Get the Navy, the Marines, the Army, the Air Force people out, and then start a war in Hawaii, and then they'll care about Hawaiian human rights, right? Oh my God, the Hawaiians are suffering under, I don't know why they're suffering. Why are they all living in tents? Why are they not speaking their language? They're being assimilated into, oh wait, we assimilated them. They're being forced re-education. It's called public school, where we don't learn any history and we're told that we're savages. And to all be American now and salute the flag. You know that? Oh my God, re-education, a forced labor. They're all being forced to labor in these fake bastardizations of their sacred dances for $7 an hour in these hotels. Forced labor of Hawaiians in Waikiki. You know, boycott Hawaii vacations. You know, like Xinjiang cotton. Boycott the Hawaii vacations. Boycott. Let's start a war in Hawaii and save the Hawaiians from their human rights. And then they'll kill every Hawaiian with F-35 launched Tomahawk missiles. And if they fly anymore, they don't fly. They're not flying too much. F-16s, but you know what they can do? Just take the 737s that continue to crash due to advanced adversarial network AI programming that doesn't work because you paid the programmers $9 an hour, and you took a soda can and you stuck an RC motor on it. That's what the 737s are, so that the CEO of Boeing Corporations could make tens of millions of dollars while tanking the entire company into the nosediving it like it's planes into the ground. You know, you could just fly Boeing planes over Hawaii and then crash them all over Hawaii, and then you could kill Hawaii that way. You can kill Hawaiians crashing your duct tape and prayers made Boeing 737s. Just crash them into Hawaii. That's the next war. The war on Hawaii. Just, hey, we're going to Hawaii. Oh shit! Bam, and then you kill it. And it's great, you know, because a Boeing 737 is kind of like a Tomahawk missile. Just a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, and it has single serving malt liquor and freeze dried shitty turkey dinners. So, you know, if you run out of Boeing missiles because China's making all your missiles and they sanction the fuck out of you, just fly your shitty airplanes, and then you can fight a war with Boeing aircraft. Boeing also is one of the biggest military contractors in the United States. But anyways, but then and Americans will be like, oh my God, the Hawaiian human rights. We care so much about those Hawaiian human rights, like we have for the last century. And then that will be the pretext to murder 1 million Hawaiians, like you murdered multi-million Muslims in Afghanistan, Iraq, and all of Richard Medhurst's family and friends. So fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Americans, you've been fooled technically it's like thousands of times. If you don't include the wars, if you include the 2008-09 financial crisis, you include all the people that were defrauded by CEO of Goldman Sachs, Lloyd Blankfein, who said it literally, we just dumped toxic subprime mortgages into our customers' bank accounts. It was so easy. If you count every time you've been fooled, it's trillions of times in America. But the wars, full-on wars, I can think of 3 off the top of my head, and there's much more than that. The Vietnam War, so Americans, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me 7 trillion times. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 7 trillion times. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, that's right. You don't have an education system. You have a brain poison system. Anyways, admin who lied the U.S. Yeah. So, anyways, okay. Now that I've got the important PSA out of the way. I forgot. I've lost my place, but why is my live chat not working on this YouTube? Anyway, and I'm gonna try to fix that real fast. It is cruel to the language rules, but it is called pigeon here in Hawaii. Yeah, that's right. Why make a crashed Boeing airplane? You can, like I said before, right? You can crash 1,000. We're gonna talk about Boeing today. You can crash 1,000. I'm leading up to that. We can crash 1,000 Boeing airplanes, and then if you crash 2 Boeing airplanes and you kill 346 people, that's how many people were murdered by Boeing because of their decisions. Even the U.S. military commanders who worked at Boeing, like ex majors who were on aircraft carriers, who worked on F-16s, F-14s. AC-130s, they said this the way that you're making good planes at Boeing, this would never fly in the military because we need the planes. When the U.S. military made planes that fly, they don't do that anymore either. They don't care because America is being cannibalized. It's the only good thing is America's hyper-capitalist, government by sociopaths and just the kakistocracy, government by the worst and the least qualified, is destroying America's, cannibalizing its own capacity to make its own military equipment and run its own infrastructure. That's a real silver lining, actually. It's very sad for people who are being killed with $16,751 electric bills after hundreds and if not thousands of people have died due to Texas's electrical grid and people with exploding water pipes shattering their cars, freezing to death in their homes, right? It's very sad for the people that are being poisoned by the water, dying because they can't get health care. The 560,000 plus people that have been murdered by COVID-19 for the profits of the richest Bezoses and Waltons and the United Health Group that made twice what they estimated, ostensibly providing health care to people. They made twice their projected profits last year. The vaccine corporations that are literally, they're just like doing the plot of Deus Ex 1 and Johnny Mnemonic, which is raking in money, and with the vaccine planetary apartheid and not giving aid to the global South countries, restricting the vaccines and then jacking the price to the roof, and then also continuing to not solve problems. So it really sucks if you're in the United States as well. As you are cannibalized, it's going to hurt a lot. And I really suggest, again and again, support your indigenous people, the decolonized people, the eternally colonized people, black and brown people. Find your community of, your mutual aid group or whatever you can get into, because America will continue to annihilate every human being, its infrastructure, its economy, its businesses, its Boeing planes, its water supplies, its electrical grids that are all bought up by JP Morgan and giant private equity firms in Wall Street. It will annihilate every last one of you, your health, your COVID-19, your ability to not die from treatable pandemics like the Vietnamese and Chinese have completely crushed. for the benefit of the economic and physical health of their population. You will be murdered by the United States if you do not get, they're going to do to its own citizens what it has done ultimately to Iraq sooner or later, maybe not as explosively, but it is de-developing itself. What it has done to Africa, America is just doing to itself right now. So the silver lining is when you de-develop, when you start chopping up your own aircraft carriers and selling off the gold and the copper from its cables, you chopping up, skimping on the quality and the quality assurance on the semiconductors, the circuits, and the heat exchangers and the turbines of your F-35s. That means that your F-35s can't fly as well anymore, right? So the only good thing is that means that all your Star Destroyers are going to start crashing into each other. That's good for the rest of the world. It's like, wow, you can't get your bombers dropping their bombs properly, then that means you can't drop as many bombs. I mean, it's still there's so much money that's still, even if America's planes are only 10% efficient, if they have like 1 million planes, they don't need 1 million planes to drop all the bombs. They have so many nukes they could bomb the whole world 10,000 times over into Mad Max Apocalypse, somewhere between that and total nuclear fallout and omnicide of everything forever. So they don't need 100% efficiency. But I mean, but it's decreasing efficiency is good, and it's decreasing economic efficiency of its ability to exert sanctions, to exert international financial weapons of mass destruction through the world reserve currency of the dollar. Its loss of its international hegemony, as everything Europe, European countries, even Africa, Russia, the rest of the world is starting to gravitate towards China, and they have more sway. That's only a good thing. Like I said, Trump was a terrible president, but he accelerated the destruction of the Death Star by 7 years by the Pentagon and Wall Street's own measurements. Like that is objectively a good thing, even though he's terrible and he was racist, and a lot of terrible things were done in his name, and the inflammation of racism, that was all terrible things. An accidental silver lining is he's also accelerated its decline by forcing $460 billion, I should say, Iran-China trade around the back, the EU unable to back because of his tariffs on Europe, on Canada, all these other places, causing all these rifts. Trump was just shooting America in its giant imperial foot, right? And that's fine. That part's good. Biden is more competent. He's trying to build the relationships back up. If you're in America, that's good for you if you like benefiting from American imperialism, right? But if you are in any other place in the world, and actually at the end of the day, it's not really good for you, because Biden is not going to give you $15. He's not going. It's going to shore up the American empire, but the American empire is the 10,000 richest people in the United States. It's the people in the Gucci belt, in the landfill, wearing a Gucci belt, that is the United States. The imperialism nowadays is mostly only benefiting the top 0.001% in the Gucci belt. So even Biden's competent imperialism is not going to help you. It's not going to help you out. Anyways, okay. Anti-colonial action show. Yeah. So, anyways, action show. American Johnson. Non-compete. A lot of people know who non-compete is. If you, a lot of people found this channel through non-compete. So we always have to give, non-compete. The American Johnson is one white dude or dude passing non-binary person who is a YouTube content creator from the West. Right now he lives in Vietnam with Luna Oi. Luna Oi is a very important voice in the world conversation. A Vietnamese woman, not a Vietnamese professional in leftism and Marxist Leninism. That's just being a Vietnamese person. Everybody gets a K-12 education in actual economics, in Marxist Leninism, in world history and world economics. Unlike in the United States, where you learn, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and Thomas Jefferson was some really great good guy, and America has never done anything evil in its entire existence ever whatsoever. Nothing bad has ever happened. And the second half of the 20th century, let's just skip all of that. Just watch some Red Scare propaganda movies, and then and now we're in 2021, where America is the greatest country in the world. Only threatened by the human rights of some Uyghurs, maybe. Maybe the human rights of Uyghurs are threatening our supremacy. So we have to really We have to really alleviate the Uyghurs from their lives. I mean, their oppression. Like we liberated the Libyans and the Iraqis and the Syrians, the Afghanis from their oppression. I mean, their lives. I mean, who am I talking to right now? Are we talking to Wall Street or are we talking to the American people? Oh, that's right, the American people. Oh, yeah. No, we really want to save them. That's what it can be confusing when you're a U.S. president, a politician, or a diplomat, or professional managerial class fucking grifter in, making money, making six-figure salaries, just producing fake news and podcasts and blue check mark shilling for your empire, or a YouTube content creator that's just like jumping in on making a nuanced China video. That's actually just making yourself a lot of money, not supporting the war ultimately. So what you want to do is, it's really hard to keep track of that. You gotta have like a flashcard, that's like, who am I talking to right now? Am I talking to the bag of money? Am I talking to Mike Pompeo or Blinken? Who am I? Oh yeah, no, I really helped start your war. Thanks a lot for that $10,000. Or am I talking to the general public? Because when you talk to the general public, you go, oh, human rights. But then when you're talking to the Pentagon or DC or Pentagon, Silicon Valley, or Wall Street heads, you want to say, oh no, I started that war. I killed them human rights. There ain't no human rights in Xinjiang anymore. And then you're like, oh no, yeah, there's human rights. Because anyways. But yeah, thanks a lot to Luna. Thanks a lot to EJ. You should definitely. Everybody probably knows their channels. But I bring up E. American Johnson because it's not like it's just not like everybody's just bad. No, it's like you reach a level of solidarity, right? And also, there's an important difference between what is factually true and the context in which you say the true information. It's called narrative weaving, right? It's important. It's leaving. It's like just saying there's a collapsed hospital in Iraq. Hundreds of hospitals are falling apart. There's no people can't get access to electricity. The Iraqi government are starving its population. It's a human rights crisis. It's a genocide, right? Venezuela, people are starving. They're hungry. There's no electricity some days. This and this and that, right? And if you leave out the context of the Iraqi hospital has fallen apart because an American bomb dropped on it, you're saying a true fact, right? A hospital collapsed. A hospital is there isn't a hospital there anymore, right? That's true. But you leave out the fact that America's bombs blew it up. You leave out the fact that American troops kicked in the doors of people, ripped away, shot someone's dad, raped someone's wife, brought 16-year-olds and tortured them for days and days on end under waterboarding, stacked them up like houses of cards. Like, that's what they are. They're just playing cards for America and Muslims, right? Stacking them up and then stripping them naked, making them put tasers up their butt, blasting Matchbox 20 at 120 decibels, flashing the lights on and off every 3 hours to keep them awake under sensory deprivation, torture. You just leave all that out, right? Leave out all the 50 caliber, like, just gunning down every 16-year-old in the street and then blowing up the hospital, killing people in the hospital because the hospital is an enemy, could be classified as enemy propaganda because the hospital is reporting the number of people that have died because you blew them up. And that's Fallujah in Iraq that they're making a 6 Days in Fallujah game about. You leave all that context out and you just say, oh, a hospital collapsed. People are suffering and they can't get food and they can't get electricity. The Iraqi government is you always use the word regime, always. The new Iraqi regime, the Assad regime, the Maduro regime, the regime change, right? Because when you call it a regime, then you have to change the regime. Because a regime, like, it suggests that there's some kind of like calcified, immovable, undemocratic, strong man individual ruling over like America has been propagandized, as if America doesn't have a ruling class that is calcified. You cannot move them, and they literally govern events. But you can vote in these fake democracies. But anyways, so. But you leave out the fact that America blew up, the U.S. military blew up the hospital. It blew up it destroyed, it embargoed and then it sanctioned so that they can't get the electrical generators from the Iranian ship or their allies that are just offering to sell them, coming out of Beirut or wherever else. They're not letting the ships in. Like the Suez Canal. You know how, oh my goodness, I can't get my Baby Yoda t-shirt and my Oculus Rift to watch WandaVision in 7D in the next 24 minutes. Oh my God, this is a genocide against my, first world, upper middle class Disney product consumption. Oh my God, I'm being genocided by the Suez Canal. Like how you can't get your fucking thing. That's not really what happened, but I mean, that's a complaint a lot of people had. I remember my dad was saying that, oh my God, we can't get a laptop. Oh no. I mean, imagine not getting electricity for like years. Imagine like not having water that doesn't have typhus and cholera, and you're afraid to drink it because you might get some terrible disease that will murder you and your children for years in Syria, in Iraq, in Libya, because America is stopping every ship, not just one ship that got its fat ass stuck in the goddamn strait. Talking about every ship bringing in critical infrastructure to the country that America bombed into the Stone Age to keep it in the Stone Age, right? And then going, oh, it's this regime, it's that regime that did it. But again, so you can say a true fact. Oh, X number of people, in the Xinjiang region, went into de-radicalization, right? Training, or we're alleviated from poverty. I mean, you could call this. I did re-education by that fucking token. I was a social worker. It's what it is. It's like, you guys are in really bad behaviors. They're not radicalized to bomb, chop people's heads off with machetes in the middle of downtown Xinjiang. They're not, which thousands of attacks. Right? They're not radicalized. The kids that I work with, Marshallese, Chokis, sometimes we call them Micronesian. I know that's not the preferred term, but that's what they're called a lot of time. But Marshallese, Chokis, Samoan, Laotian, Vietnamese, Chinese. I work with Chinese kids. I work with all these kids. Disproportionately, a lot of them were, Micronesian, but they, Native Hawaiians, Filipinos, running away, escaping from their horrible situation. Puerto Ricans escaping from their horrible oppression inside of the United States territory, where the U.S. has actually has allowed them to fucking just live in squalor, has literally bombed them, injected them with radiation just to see, by literal Nazi eugenicist American doctors who took pleasure killing Puerto Rican women by filling their reproductive cavities with uranium. And the Puerto Ricans, they came, and those, a lot of these poor kids, right, coming from all these other places, or just being Native Hawaiian, they're getting into negative, self-destructive and community-destructive behaviors, like selling meth, like getting into gangs, or just committing all this violence, right, against each other, right, mostly because and then of course Hawaii, the racist Hawaii illegally occupying state, and it's disproportionately rich white people that own it, its business and its politics, go, oh, it's Hawaiians are all just, it's brown on brown crime. It's the same thing they do to black people, right? It's brown on brown crime. These Hawaiians, these Micronesians, these Samoans, these Vietnam, these Asians, they're all just sick. They're genetically predisposed to steal cars and sell meth and just shoot guns and get into fights and just, and be drunk. They're all drunk all the time. They're all drunk. They're all on crack. That's what they'll say. And it's like, that's why I bring up, it's like, when I say that, Neofeud, the characters are selling meth, Proto J is selling liquid crystal lithium. It's obviously a direct metaphor for crystal meth that was in the communities, right? Ice, they call it ice in Hawaii. But I make a point always to say it's not, they're not doing that because they're like Hawaiians are genetically predisposed to love crack and meth and sell it and buy it. No, they're doing that because that's the only thing that they can do to survive. Again, leaving out the context, right? Saying something true. There is a lot of meth in the impoverished areas of Kalihi, Waianae, Pololo, all these areas. It's like the Oakland. It's like the Oakland. It's like the Baltimore. It's like the downtown Chicago. Or the poor black parts of Chicago in Hawaii. It's the same thing, right? And it's like and you leave out the context of the illegal occupation, the destruction of our culture, the annihilation of our entire history, the environmental racism, putting toxic waste dumps, fracking, not fracking, but like having lead and copper and all these things leaching into our water supply, so children get brain damage when they're 5 years old or younger. De-educating, just the horrors of capitalism and racism, police murdering us, police mass incarcerate. You leave all that out, right? And all the genocide you have done to us, and by you I mean the United States and your powers. You actual genocide, not a made-up one, like what you're saying about China. You've done an actual genocide to us. You leave out that, and he just goes, you see, Hawaiians are just criminals. Micronesians are just criminals. These Pacific Islanders are just all criminals. They're just all, oh, what a disaster. It's a human rights crisis. Where did that come from? They must have done it to themselves. It's all their fault, right? And now we're going to save them by putting $200 million into affordable housing that doesn't become affordable. You know how I know that? You know how I know this doesn't do that? Because I look for affordable housing and I watch the money go into what we're supposed to be like downtown Kaka'ako. You ever been to Hawaii? Salt, this whole areas that get built up. It was ostensibly going to be a place where we're going to have affordable housing to house Hawaiians to alleviate the genocide. Oh, I'm sorry, is it the human rights crisis? Oh, no, it's just the homeless problem. Oh, no, it's just Hawaiians are doing it to themselves. That's what it is, right? It depends. Who am I talking to? Same question. Am I talking to DC, Wall Street, the Native Hawaiians, or my bosses in the fucking $2 million, $10 million houses in Kahala, the richest, right off the edge of the Waikiki postcard? Diamond Head, $40 million, $100 million for a quarter acre there. It's literally the most expensive real estate on the planet. It's right there. It's like a postage stamp size place. You can go for millions and millions of dollars. And these people have entire mountainsides. But anyways, of Hawaii, rich white people from around the world, disproportionately American. You genocidal hypocrites. Anyways, so but you leave out that context. You don't say, like leaving out the Tomahawk missile that hit the hospital in Iraq and just going, oh, the Iraqis are just terrible at building hospitals, right? You are saying a true fact, a hospital collapse, but you are doing imperial propaganda. You are doing the military-industrial complex, capitalism, global super capitalism, hyper capitalism, racism, and colonialism's jobs for them. But I'm just having nuanced arguments, So I need that meme of that white guy, where is that one? It's perfect. This one, yeah. This is the people making their nuanced arguments about Xinjiang right now. This is them. Hi, I'm a white dude who likes to play devil's advocate because other people's struggles are theoretical to me. Like the struggle of Uyghurs, it's all theoretical. The struggle of Muslims around the world is theoretical. I don't give a shit. It's fun to debate their right to equality. While we're here, I would like to center my voice and perspectives about a cause that means nothing to me. I'm here to take up all the oxygen in the room and exhaust people who are trying to fight against injustice so that we can maintain the status quo, which serves me, white guy. I have no interest in learning. Your frustration is my ultimate goal. Let's engage. I know this. Not every. It's like hashtag not all white guys. Because there's an American Johnson, but for every American Johnson, there's a bunch of I'm not gonna say all their names because I don't care about no stupid drama. I don't need your clicks. I don't need your fucking Nazi clicks and your racist clicks and your diseducated white dude with lots of money to throw into my Patreon clicks and subs. I don't need that. So I'm not gonna say who. But for every American Johnson, there's a whole big bunch of white tubers, white left tubers, with disproportionately who are better off, who are making videos ostensibly caring about people in Xinjiang right now, especially in Xinjiang, but other issues as well, or whether whether racism is more important than the classism, blah 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 blah, class reductionist nonsense, right? Looking for other white rich dudes who have the money on YouTube. They're old. YouTube is disproportionately like elder millennial to Gen X is the median age, and it's disproportionately Western white nerdy, especially on the bread tube. Looking for that demographic of mommy and daddy have a lot of money to throw at me, but I didn't get a job at Microsoft making $100,000 and I'm pissed off, but I'm still living off of mommy and daddy's 20 Airbnbs, or my mom, or ASPI's money, or my Australian banker mommy, or my arms dealer that has a LGBTQ plus flag and a BLM flag, and I do my daily yoga. It's some Australian firm that's fucking selling missiles and bombs from Northrop Grumman, right? And all my mommy and daddy missile money isn't as much as it used to be, and I'm just some asshole in South America, in Central America, in in the United States. I'm staying in Thailand, and I assume everybody is a sexpat. That's a disgusting term. I assume everybody's doing that because that's what I'm doing, and I want to make more money pretending to have a nuanced conversation about Xinjiang because that's hot. That's hot right now, and I can get other white leftists dudes money right now if I make up some bullshit that's nuanced and I say some facts and I leave out the most important ones because that fits my Western white knight, white savior narrative right now, and also helps my mommy and daddy at the CIA do their job so that I can keep taking $3,000 in my credit card and then abusing and enjoying the culture and the servitude of South and Central Americans and having fun on Tinder with all of their bodies. Kind of like how white people come to Hawaii and abuse the Filipino sex workers and Pacific Island sex workers and Asian sex workers. And then sometimes if they really want to have fun, they'll just shoot up 3 different brothels, six different Asian women. They're not all sex workers necessarily, and that's another assumption. But when a white guy really wants to have fun, he can just murder some sex workers, right guy who talks about Xinjiang, who likes to joke about the non-white sex workers, right? You know who I'm talking about. I don't. It doesn't matter who. There's one dude particularly, but there's many of them ultimately. And that was my point the other day, which is that's not. If you leave out, if you leave out the fact that the Hawaiians and the Pacific Islanders in Hawaii are in the place they're in because of with the ongoing colonialism, imperialism, the capitalism, and the systemic racism, the systemic inequality, the systemic economic, racial, and nation-to-nation inequality or illegal occupation. You are doing the systemic racism, the systemic capitalism, the systemic imperialism's job for them. You are making some money for yourself, pretending to help people who are. And again, this the Western left tube, right? The Fed tube. This is not like a new phenomena, right? Like getting people who the Western white knight complex is so strong, so deep, right? The Australian, the American, the Canadian, the British, and the French. We are good people doing the good thing. It's like one of them. It is the biggest weapon. That's why they focus on the human rights, right? For the left, it's for the fake left on the west, the fake left West tube is the same thing, right? It's with a little more hammer and sickle characteristics than with just brunch characteristics, right? But the liberal and the fake Western left is very similar. And it says that, I care so much about all these harmed people. I am such a good person because I care so much about their human rights. It's in John. I care so much about their human rights. That's why I'm making this really nuanced. That's not actually nuanced. It's fake nuance. It's nuanced, but in all the wrong ways. It's nuanced to help the empire fucking do some more killing, to get the left in the West over onto let's fucking blow up some more Uyghurs, please. I mean, save them. Right, the actual material historical analysis, right, and the bad faith act. You can tell a lot of these bad faith actors because they don't do a lot of good faith organizing. They don't do a lot of good faith. Like I bring, the EJ, like everybody has their own concern. Like, am I gonna get enough clicks today to keep going? I that's a concern, right? But I mean, non-compete takes some time and effort to platform some people doing some actual important work, like BP, who is still raising money to get their get housed, doing fight against toxic prisons as a black activist in the United States, has helped platform myself. Like I would not have a lot of the platform that I have to some folks in the Western the West, the English speaking world on the left without non-compete, right? So to the extent, I know a lot of people watching this have found me through specifically American Johnson non-compete in that group, right? And so, that's a materially you've kind of shown that you have actual solidarity with people, not just people in your home country, but people around the world, as opposed to I'm gonna make a video and then make a lot of money and then make a lot of really misogynistic and racist jokes all over the place, and say the N-word. I'm referring to a variety of these. I don't want to start. I don't care about the drama. Is useless and pointless. You know, we don't need that. But the phenomena is important, right? I'm gonna make racist and sexist jokes. I'm gonna be kind of a chuddy asshole, but I'm gonna talk about how, oh, maybe we should capitalism's not that good though, and I don't like billionaires and something, and you know, ride for Biden, you know, ride in for Biden because Biden's gonna solve all our problems. You know, Marx would have voted for Biden. All this nonsense, right? And you know, have a nuanced conversation that's not, you know, that's ultimately very racist, and it's nuanced in a sense. Well, we'll talk about let's you know, the nuanced conversation is like, well, maybe the Iraqis might have asked, you know, look, I found this one evidence that there's a photographic satellite evidence that an Iraqi government official had a bomb one time. They brought the bomb. Oh, one time the Iraqi government lied, right? They had a bomb and then the bomb disappeared, and then they lied about where the bomb was, and then mysteriously a hospital in Fallujah blew up. So while yes, the US has done things wrong, all governments have done things wrong. You know, it's trying to both sides. It's like hashtag all lives matter, but for country to country relations. That's what a lot of this nuance is when it comes to the global South, when it comes to non-white country, when it comes to China, when it comes to South Central America, when it comes to Iraq, when it comes to Africa. It's like, well, yes, the Western imperial governments have done some bad things, but also the Iraqi government, they lied this one time. They might have, you know, they might have accidentally blown up one of the hospitals. You know, yes, we bombed thousands of structures. We took entire cities and turned them into smoldering craters with dead Iraqi infants, like, you know, pools of blood everywhere, just ash, and traumatized our own troops and put $21 trillion, which is why we have no healthcare, housing, education, and our roads are turning into gravel. But I mean, like, maybe in Iraq, this Iraqi, we can't, you know what? It's like, we can't, we cannot rule out. We have no evidence for the genocide. We have no evidence that what China is doing is actually a human rights crisis. But they lied one time. They said one thing and it wasn't totally true. And we can't rule it out. We just can't rule it out. We can't rule out that the Iraqi government maybe didn't accidentally, like, you know, leave too much ammonium nitrate and then, you know, a few other chemicals that when put together create a ammonia bomb or a C4 equivalent explosive and a high explosive. We can't rule out that Iraqi didn't accidentally blow up one of their hospitals. So because of that, the Iraqis and Americans are the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? That's not nuance. That is, you're doing your empire's work for them. You are doing imperial propaganda. It's important. What is true and what is true and what is dialectically and ethically correct in a given time are two different things, right? You know, the Hawaiians, this one time, and I know Hawaiians who have stolen stuff, you know, have done things, you know, because I work with them. You know, I know kids who had guns in my classroom when I'm trying to teach trying to teach about the human rights and the Constitution, right? That was plagiarized from the Indigenous people, but you know, I had to teach that for government and law in the 16 to 21 year old competency-based diploma program, right? And I had to teach about this. And when I'm talking about human rights and not violating the law, there's kids in my class that are literal Bloods and Crips with fucking guns on them, talking about how they're gonna whip all the Desert Ease out and y'all's all like peace out because they're listening to too much Kanye West, reactionary, recuperated American white capitalist hip hop that used to be revolutionary, and then they push out all of the worst stuff to for the same reason why the United States trains ISIS and then they train gangsters in the sense of like, you know, trying to survive in their communities, and they try to push that in so that they can say black on black crime. That's why the black people all gotta be locked up. Crime bill, Kamala Harris. All right. Well, we've dealt with the black problem. Now they're all gone. And a handful of them are rich, making more of them gone. Making more of them shoot each other rather than being radical communist revolutionary solidarity like a lot of things that Black Panthers did, like what Boots Riley's trying to do. How is Boots Riley going to organize? How are these people on the ground going to organize and black socialists and communists going to organize if, you know, when huge swaths of the community are too busy going like, I'm gonna get my bling, I'm gonna get my gun, I'm gonna get mine, fuck y'all. the attitude of the gangster attitude of fuck y'all is just black reactionary capitalism, you know, or not, it's just non-white. I mean, because there's Hawaiian and Pacific Islander and other, you know, demographic disproportionately non-white that have that same kind of thing, you know. You can't organize when everybody's like, I'm gonna get mine. I mean, Comrade Kennedy was talking specifically about Killer Mike recently, where Killer Mike was like, well, I mean, capitalism isn't that bad, you know. It's okay, you know, we can deal with the plight of black people while leaving capitalism and billionaires in place, and we don't have to deal with the economic inequality, because I work hard for all of my money too. You know, it's like, or did you do what the white billionaire power wanted, so that, you know, and don't step on enough, don't actually drum up enough, you know, questions, so that, you know, I don't know, get wiped off the airwaves like Public Enemy, you know, so that you don't get Tupac'd, so that you don't get Fred Hampton, right? So you don't get Huey P. If you actually, when you do something that actually jeopardizes the power of the U.S. empire, its capital, its white supremacy, you get fucked with. You don't get millions of dollars and Hollywood movies made like Ice Cube. I'm sorry, you know, whatever you were, you got $300 million, and then you threw your $300 million into backing Donald Trump. It doesn't matter. You backed any U.S. president. You know. Oh, Kanye West is over there going, black people deserve to be slaves. So, you know, you're doing your work. You're doing the work for your master. Oh yeah, no, black people deserve to be like that. If black people just worked harder, they'd all be out of their situation. They just gotta work harder. Just work harder at McDonald's. Kanye has said shit like this all the time. So you don't get billions of dollars from the white supremacist capitalist United States to liberate your internally colonized ongoing black slaves. You get money to keep them in slaves, in chains. That's the whole point of Boots Riley's, the Cassius Green character. It says, you know, Steve Lift, right? He's like a stand-in for Steve Jobs, plus, you know, plus the CEOs of, not Google, because they're really nice. They're like the best company ever. The CEOs of, you know, it's like Steve Jobs plus, the Coke, but with the really fun, loving, friendly face. I love listening to hip hop. I love black people, right? And then he's like, hey, Cassius, hey, black dude who's really good at, you know, talking to people and really charismatic. Hey, a lot of people like you. Here's $100 million. What I need you to do is lead all the internally colonized slaves astray when I tell you to. When they try to do a Martin Luther King, or when they try to do like organize and get close to liberating themselves against race, class, and international and anti-war lines, right? When you start getting ready to do what Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and everybody was talking about doing, I need you to take everybody and then lead them astray by the million. Lead all your black people astray. So that I can keep my money and my power, and we can keep white supremacy, capitalism, and imperialism in place. That's what they give you money in Hollywood to do. That's what they give you money in the music industry, the big music industry, to do. Right now, it's different if you're organically growing if you're organically growing what you're doing. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, right? That's a different thing. But if you're getting money straight from the big investors, the big media industry, let's not kid ourselves. Hollywood is a fucking military industrial complex entertainment arm. A lot of the big music industry, the big corporate labels, I mean, this is like well known. That's what alternative music was like. Oh my God, this whole, what used to be revolutionary rock is all, it never was all that revolutionary. But I mean, even just trying to say anything, it's just all being co-opted and turned into boy band bullshit, right? So, when Michael Jackson tried to make a song about police mass arrests, police brutality, himself being thrown in, being violently arrested and thrown in jail, even being one of the world's biggest celebrities, and he talked about the ongoing racism that they don't really care about us. Michael Jackson, he was silenced. He had all of these lawsuits thrown at him, and they never showed. He made two music videos about that. They don't really care about us. One of them is in Brazil, and had international solidarity. One of them was the other one was in a prison in the United States, and that was unacceptable, right? No, Michael, we're paying you to be the wacko jacko. That's what the Germans call him because they're racist. Wacko, and then Michael Jackson said, that's a really racist thing to call me, the wacko jacko. You calling me a dancing monkey? That's you Germans in Germany. When Michael Jackson came to play a big major concert tour in Germany, that's what they call him. And like this is really racist. Like, well, your job is to be you're just a dancing black monkey to entertain us. Like Hawaiians, you're just dancing brown monkeys to entertain rich white people. As we have fake luau that costs $200 a plate, 90% of which goes straight to some rich white dude that owns the hotel. Like Donald Trump owns the Ritz. So you want to give Donald some money? Stay at the Ritz and have a nice fake luau with starvation wage Hawaiians serving kalua pig and lau and fake versions of a lot of our foods, doing fake versions of our sacred dances. We're just fucking dancing brown monkeys. So that's why I know I identify with Michael Jackson and all of the that because much of my family are all brown dancing starvation wage labor monkeys that are desecrating their own sacred culture for just some crumbs. So, anyway, I forgot where I was going with that. This is not, I'm specifically talking about the people who take vast quantities of money and then you could even have done like NWA initially was saying a lot of important things, like we can't say some things because America is now anybody who says anything bad about the police apparently are, they're terrorists and they're anti-American and you can tweet a bad thing about a cop and then the other police come to your door. But the NW had very important songs. I'm talking about. And then later on you could be making hundreds of millions of dollars being the darling of Hollywood, and then not doing all that much. Not doing all that much, but with a net worth of $300 million, right? And I'm not saying like just because you have a net worth, just because you did very well doesn't make you immediately okay. Well, now you're not good. But I mean, it definitely, the access, the money, having mansions and privilege, and hanging around in places like Hollywood, in places like LA, in places like New York City, you can lose a lot of whatever radical. Well, I shouldn't say radical because that's also a term that means that you're some kind of evil terrorist. Go watch some Captain Falcon, Winter Soldier. Sorry, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's all about what the U.S. is doing right now, which is criminalizing anarchists and socialists, and the ACAB is a slur apparently. There's a whole file coming out now, because anti-racism is unacceptable for Google AdSense now. Because so what does it mean? It's kind of like how like Antifa is like some evil terrorist organization, but being against fascism. So the U.S. military is a terrorist organization by that. Well, it is obviously, but they fought fascism in World War II, so that it's against fascism. Being anti-racist is a hate crime. So it's Google. Well, I shouldn't say anything about Google because I'm gonna get shadow banned. But I mean, so is this entity? If you're saying that your algorithms and your policy does not allow anti-racism, that makes you racist, right? You can't say Breonna Taylor's name. So that makes you racist, right? Right? Twitter that deleted 3,000 accounts off of Twitter for saying Breonna Taylor's name right when her biggest court proceeding, it was a huge high-profile court proceedings were happening, right? The levels of hypocrisy and the levels of just like you can only, that's why I say you can only be in perpetual cognitive dissonance in the United States and anywhere in the West, right? Caring about human rights and then not caring about it 3 seconds later, right? It's Schrodinger's human rights, Schrodinger's Uyghur. Are they oppressed and crushed and being destroyed and being genocided, forced educated, assimilated, tortured, or are they being, as was admitted by Foreign Policy and Washington Post and other just 3-4 years ago? There's important. Like Daniel Dumbro had a very important post next to each other. China is being too nice to Uyghurs. It's literally the article. China is halal food is served even on airplanes and all over the place. The Uyghurs are learning their own language. This is being they're enabling their culture too much. That's literally the Western media was like saying that the China is being too nice to the Uyghurs. Why are the Uyghurs growing at such a high rate? What is China doing? This is not an appropriate policy. Why are the Uyghur? There are so many mosques. Why is Muslim? Why is the Uyghur language all over their sign? It's literally the article, right? It's Schrodinger's Uyghur. Like, what do we need to say today? Is it bad? Is China bad because they're like SJWs because they're backing their ethnic minorities too much, or is it fucking genocide today because they're crushing their ethnic minorities? It's like, what the fuck? No, that's why you don't, The nuance has to start with, you know, is it 7 or 10 years for the end of the empire and empires? You know, is it what methods and how quickly should we undo the Western imperialism, the Five Eyes, and all of this horror? That's the nuance. It's not like, you know, did the Iraqi government accidentally blow up a hospital? It's not, oh, did maybe one time somebody go into a de-radicalization education for a year too long? You know, or is it what, you know, that's a year. It's like, did somebody go into de-radicalization for 8 months, and was that forced re-education too long? You know. Also, you know, the thing is, like, I literally did re-education. If you want to talk about re-education, that was like I said, that was my job. It was a 6-month program. Here, fun fact. No, actually, it's more like it's 8 months to a year. I did re-education. You know, it's coerced re-education. What I had to do is like trying to take kids that were in terrible behaviors. Is like, you're gonna go to prison. See, America, when you go, see, the thing is, if you do an extremism in America, like you do, well, actually, you don't have to do it. It's like, if you just be black or brown and poor in America, you go to prison. That's worse than re-education, because when you go to prison, you're just languishing. You're just being abused. You're just being locked up and used for fucking 25 cents an hour, Amazon vegan and non-vegan Whole Foods cheese, and getting yourself fucking incinerated fighting California's wildfires for $1 a fucking hour as a slave. Re-education is better than slave prison labor, right? Like, if re-education is like trying to help kids as a social worker, right? Teaching kids about occupation and law, government and law, occupational knowledge, how to get a job, how to like show up and like present yourself properly, how to fill out your resume, helping kids fill out their resumes. Hey, like, how about Starbucks? Let's try McDonald's. Like, you can't get a job as an engineer yet, but let's get you into college. Let's get you into some classes. Like, let's work on your familial problems, right? Like counseling sessions. Make sure you're going to counseling sessions. Hey, you gotta put that gun down, son. Hey, T-boy, you gotta put that gun down. Like, gang behavior is not gonna help. You know, that's re-education, right? What Neofeud is about is Carl Carbon is a re-educator. He's doing a cultural assimilation of protege. You know, if assimilation means getting people on a path so that they can have better opportunities, get jobs, and have houses and lives, and not be in negative self-destructive behaviors like in drugs and in violent crimes, right? That end up killing people in your neighborhood, in my neighborhood. If re-education is altering people's pattern, is like, you know, it's economic assimilation, and it is tapping down on things that they believe, right? Like that are implanted by the United States. Like, I'm gonna be a baller and a bling, and if I do enough Grand Theft Auto, fucking Fast and Furious 90 mile per hour boosting of Audis in downtown fucking Honolulu, in Waikiki, you know, I'm gonna make it. It's re-education away from that. That's what I did, is re-education. I think that's preferable than taking the Native Hawaiian, taking the Chukis, the Laotian, the Filipino under your fascist imperial occupation that is boosting cars. The re-education and bringing them into a fold of, you know, America isn't perfect, but I mean, this is not a good path for you. You know, like, let's try to work to, like, let's get you something that you can do, and also be in radical solidarity with your fellow colonized people. I mean, that they don't put that on the program, but I inject, hey, let's not listen to so much Kanye and fucking gangster rap. Let's listen to some Public Enemy. Let's read some fucking Malcolm X, right? But the United States doesn't want. The secret is the United States doesn't really want to re-educate. It doesn't enable the kids to get a good job, and that's, you know, I actually went against my own government's fake, you know, resocialization means be a good McDonald's cog. So I had to personally go against that, right? To try to go, you know, actually the U.S. government is not in your interest here. You know, actually, the illegal occupying government of the United States, they're not really working in my Hawaiian interest, in your Filipino interest, in your Puerto Rican interest, in your Honduran interest, in your, poor black from Detroit interest. They're not in your interest. They're not going to teach you that in school. But I'm going to try to teach you some of this. So that's all re-education, right? See, I'm like accidentally doing some Chinese re-education in doing social work in America. right? America, a lot of social work is if it functioned the way that it's supposed to, it's better to have social workers than police and prisons, right? Because then you can, that is the biggest drive of China. The second biggest selling movie is a film called My Home, My Family. Was it My Family, My Country? It grossed more than Wonder Woman. It grossed more Wonder Woman 1984. It grossed more sales than Wonder Woman. The re-screening of Avatar and Mulan. The number one was they're both Chinese films. I talked about that last week. That movie is about doing actual social work, which is what? It's about poverty alleviation, right? That's what getting the kids to let's get you some skills. Let's get you some counseling so that we can deal with the traumas of being poor and being shot at by police, being abused by your parents, who were themselves abused because they grew up and were raised in poverty, abused by your foster parents, sold into sex slavery in Waikiki, and you recently got out of that. Let's get you help to get away from the self-destructive and community-destructive behaviors. If that's re-education, I did re-education. Oh, so now you can go and go. Okay, so Silver Spook is doing a Chinese genocide against the people. But that's the way that America. That's the level of what America is talking about, and the West is talking about in Xinjiang. If getting people away from destructive and violent, especially the kids that I was with, they're violent kids. They're not violent kids. They committed violence, because the greatest violence of poverty, which Gandhi correctly pointed out, the biggest violence is poverty. The violence of poverty and diseducation by the schools that have 1,000 teachers short every year, and they hire the worst teachers and underfund them in schools that they have one microscope for fucking 300 kids. I worked in the public schools of downtown Kalihi, of downtown Waianae, of downtown Palolo. The poorest parts of Hawaii, where you keep all your native Hawaiian ghettoized actual genocide. If retraining people away from things that they believed before that were problematic. I mean, if you are a ISIS extremist, right? If you're a Uyghur extremist, right? Muslim extremist who believe that women have to stay in the kitchen and you're gonna drive cars and trucks in downtown and kill 70 people, smashing people's bodies in downtown Urumqi, in downtown areas of Xinjiang town, to terrorize people. Often the Uyghurs that were doing the terror, they were killing their own people because they were like, you are collaborating with the West because your women are not wearing hijab. They're not wearing. The women aren't subservient, patriarchal. This is the most fucked up thing is, this extremism was things that would be despised by much of the liberal West. They'd be like, women should have equal rights. That's not what they believe. The opposite. Women should be the way that the men want them. It's right-wing versions of Islam, and not just a little, so extreme that they will kill people, right? And America foments this so that it can justify its wars and disrupt, to disengage, to de-develop, debase, and cause havoc in that region, specifically where China's Belt and Road Initiative, which is $1.4 trillion, that will unlock China's economy and alleviate a lot of other economies, because America is trying to wall off its ocean routes with America's. The sun never set on the British Navy Empire. The sun never sets on the British American Navy and Air Force Empire. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to lock China in there, and that's why they drive. Anyways, so if those are extremist behaviors, right? The violent behavior, especially the violent ones. I mean, it's one thing to be poor, but if you're committing violence and disrupting the neighborhood and killing yourself also, right? Meth is terrible, because children are the worst victims of when you have meth permeating and these debilitating drugs like meth and crack. The parents that get on that, right? They're addicted, and then the children don't have parents, or they have abusive parents, and then you have a whole another generation of re-traumatized Native Hawaiians, Filipinos, and just poor people generally, but disproportionately they're black and brown. Right? So if that's re-education, this is the thing that it's so fucking disgusting, because I don't see any of these white fucking bread tube, very few, especially the ones all Mr. Nuance. They haven't done shit. They're joking about how much sex they had with marginalized people of color and the women of color. It's fucking disgusting, actually. Anyway, I'm not gonna talk specifically. You know, like I haven't seen them do anything actual fucking solidarity with this stuff. The people that have, I notice they either don't comment on the Xinjiang issue, or they're like, I'm not sure, but we definitely cannot support what the United States is doing. You know, if the United States is anti anything, we should immediately question that. If the United States, Australia, its economic and military and political and news media elite are going hard anti-something, we should immediately question that, and we should not be, you know, just from the historical record of what the result of that is, which is what, millions of deaths and actually your own impoverishment. For your own sake, if you're American, if you're Canadian, if you're an Australian, if you're French, if you're a Western European, and if you're in the UK, you're all fucking dying from austerity. 160,000. I'm watching you all die. It's disgusting and sad. 500 people, one out of every 500 in Britain have died from COVID. You know, if your government, if the BBC, if Reuters, if the New York Times, the Washington Post, if any of these organizations, the NED and the Human Rights Watch and the Associated Press and the Australian ASPI, well, they're not going to be called ASPI. They're just some blue checkmark Australian Twitter. And Nathan Hooser, and I forget all the guys that are looking at the satellite images, trying to start wars in the new wars in the border of China, or in China, ideally. If you are listening to them, the West say anything that we have to be anti this, or we have to care about these human rights, you should immediately question that and dig much deeper. And definitely don't just jump on the bandwagon to support it, because you can almost guarantee. I mean, by its record, again, the Gulf, Syria, Libya, Iraq. Right? It's not about human rights. It's not about caring. And whatever is or is not happening in that region, right? We can't know exactly, specifically, were any human rights violated? Just like you can't know, is Silver Spook, maybe there was a bad Hawaiian one time. Maybe there's one Micronesian though. Like he didn't even undergo an imperialism. Well, this one brown person, you know, they boosted a car for no other reason. They just did it because they wanted to do a joyride. And that means that, there were both sides. Hawaiians did some bad things, and Americans did some bad. The Micronesians did, why were the Micronesians putting their islands in the middle of Americans' nuclear weapons? That was their fault. Micronesia on Micronesia. Why would the Marshallese, have to live where, nuclear atomic radiation was raining from the sky, drizzling and thundering down in storm clouds all over Bikini Atoll and the neighboring atolls, putting radioactive isotopes that will take hundreds of years to fully decay all over their coconut trees, their palm trees, their crabs, their historical fishing grounds. Why would you put your fishing grounds and your ta'ape and your ulua, and your Marshallese, double hull canoes and single hull canoe? Why would you put your canoe where we were nuking? That's your fault. It's these Marshallese on Marshallese carb. Brown on brown crime. You just shouldn't have been nuked by us, Why are you doing that for? Also, one time I saw a Marshallese kid, he fought and he attacked another Marshallese 16-year-old. So, I mean, yes, the United States did, but it's, both sides. Humanity all shares some blame. People are just bad. That's the thing. Common Kenny has a very important one about that. The universalization of the evils, right? Of the human race is just bad. People are just bad. That is a blanket get out of imperialism and mass murder and death free card from. People do some. Some people took some Hawaiians, Iraqis, and Micronesians took some cookies from some cookie jars. That doesn't mean that we should not interrogate fucking massacre of millions of people and the global slavery and genocide for profit of billionaires, of the people that are coming disproportionately from this particular places and in these particular cities, in these particular income brackets. But all people are bad. Hashtag all lives are bad. Hashtag Hawaiians and white people are the same. It's all the same. America and Iraq, they're all bad. They're all just bad. All states bad. That's the thing. That's the thing where that's why the West, they love their anarchists. Actually, they hate. Again, it's Schrodinger's anarchists. I don't like it when they're fighting our cause. I do like the anarchists though when they're calling for the destruction of China. I love that one. I like that one. Okay, so let's take the good anarchists and give them a bag of Fed money, and then let's take the bad anarchists that are throwing a Molotov cocktail and put them in prison with all the black people. So hey, I see you tweeted ACAB one time, and you have a hammer and sickle, and you have a Kropotkin avatar there. Interesting. You're going to prison now. Oh, I see that you are an anarchist, but you're calling for the destruction of China, and you're making nuanced videos about how there's Uyghur genocide. Okay, here's a bag of fucking money. Keep making those videos. That's FedTube. So it's Schrodinger's anarchist and it's Schrodinger's Uyghur. It's just like, what do we, how is this going to benefit the yacht payment of a Lockheed Martin executive? I'm sorry, war criminal that is the president. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Schrodinger's. It's Schrodinger's American plutocracy, right? Am I a government official now, or am I a Wall Street executive, or am I the board member on Raytheon? Where is the door revolving right now? There's a door in the sky between DC and fucking New York, right? And it revolves. Depends on what year it is. You go 2 years here, 2 years there. You just keep going back and forth. Schrodinger's Wall Street military industrial executive. Schrodinger's congressman, board member, so anyways, it's but I mean, the bigger point is that we have to, you always have the context of what you're saying is important. And when you choose the context of when you choose what context to give and not to give, what information to give and not to give, right? Despite information that you say that could be factually true, the narrative that you are constructing, and you're always constructing a narrative whether you want to or not, right? As a professional science fictional cyberpunk ghostwriter for multi-billionaire yacht having NGO funding Western white people, sometimes I do that. I have done that. Just writing science fiction stories. May or may not include William Gibson, the godfather of all cyberpunk. But anyways, when you are writing and you're saying and you're doing anything, you are always constructing a narrative whether you want to or not, right? That's why every game, every movie is political, everything is political, right? Every news story is political, every fact is political, every artwork is political. Like everything up there, that's why, that's the apolitical stance is the universalization stance. It's the Western European Enlightenment. We are the universal, and then casting all evil as just the human environmental and socio-political smog, like the V8 Hummer exhaust tailpipe. It just happens. Humans live and then war crimes happen. That's just how it is. Humans live and then bad shit happens. It's just humans. All people are bad. All people, it's like, it's like, no, but specifically black lives need to, it's like all lives matter. I mean, we all know there's nothing to see here. America, we're fine. I don't know. Why are you asking for decolonization? I mean, that's centering your indigenous and black existence. No race should be centered. All lives matter, all colonized and settlers, all people matter. Let's not talk about that anymore. Let's move on to talk about something more important, like whether or not this Uyghur child is it a communism when a Uyghur child is skateboarding outside of a Fun Factory arcade, their belly full of fresh fruits and vegetables, and their native goat milk bubble tea, and they're full. But if they skateboard and they crash in, they're skateboarding in a very rebellious way, with tattoos of them of alcohol and skateboards on their arm, right? Oh, the genocide. They're all being assimilated into some, and they're like, oh yeah, I love Tony Hawk, and they're not being exposed to any Western or their own culture. When a Uyghur crashes on a skateboard in a mall, is that a communism genocide? Let's focus on that. New Moves channel does a really good job of just kind of like taking the win out of a lot of these sales. By just going through places in China and going through downtown, in Urumqi, in other places of Xinjiang, riding on trains, and just going, like, I'm just going. This is. I mean, this is not like, oh, the CCP took me on a guided tour. It's like he's like just talking to random kids. I mean, I was like listening to him talking to the skateboarders, and I was like, I remember doing skate. Me and Pablo Synergy, we used to like do. We were being in the prayer room in like my dad worked as a at the school that I went to. That's the only reason why I could afford to go to the $20,000 a year private school now. And I remember we used to do kick flips, and we try to like do a kick flip, and you're falling down, banging your knee, scratching it up against the desk, or sometimes we'd be just like hanging out at the house. People were skateboarding around, just hey, yeah, maybe I'll be Tony Hawk one day. I'll be man. Look, check this out. I do it at 720. Oh shit, I remember right before we were going to go to prom night, or was it like some big event, and like our good friend, you know, who was no longer with us, you know, rest in power, was skateboarding down a hill, and he was like, yeah, man, check this out, I'm Superman. He's like going down a hill that's like at a 70-degree angle. He's like, no, it's like, you know, 300 feet. I'm like, I don't know if you want to do that, man. But he's like, no, I'm gonna be a badass skater. And he's like going down the hill on his, you know, Tony Hawk in his head, you know, Superman dreams. And then he's going down at like 20, 30 miles an hour, and then he literally Superman's off the skateboard. My friend Kama, he's my other native wired friend. Remember this? We all watched the skateboarding shows and played with the skateboarding games, and everybody was doing that. And we were all in punk bands for a little bit, you know. We had a lot. I remember going to all the punk shows when we were in high school. And he's like diving off the skateboard, and he scratches. He slashed all of his hand like from here to here. It was just like a giant strawberry. He's like, you know, he's like bleeding out all over the place. He's like, oh fuck, we gotta go to prom night, or we gotta go to our graduation night. Oh shit, and he's got like screwed his shirt up. But anyway, you know, making bad decisions in high school, just living like a teen. You know, but in a certain sense, like being able to like, you know, we went on joyrides and let's take our dad's crappy old car, because my family only had crappy old car. Let's go joyriding and off-roading with a car that's probably has less shock absorbers. You know, has less shock absorbers than like a 40-year-old mountain, you know, bike. You know, I don't know, that's a bad metaphor, but you know. Let's take this ancient old car, you know, that's worth like $10 and try to joyride it, and the 4-wheel drive isn't working all too good. And we're joyriding it all over this area in the beach. And then we made a bad decision. We got our car stuck. You know, we're going skateboarding down hills. We're like, yeah, screw you, mom and dad. You know, we're gonna do whatever we want. But I mean, like being able to just be like a high school kid and make kind of not always the best. That's not necessarily a good thing. But being able to like do some rebellion and just live like a kid for a little bit, you know. We didn't get into too much bad, you know. We didn't get into the level of bad trouble that a lot of kids that I work with, you know, got into. But you know, we made bad decisions, like going down a 300-foot hill at 70 degrees is not a good decision, right? And the kids are just like, they're just like doing that. They're like, oh yeah, look at this, look, yeah, I'm 16 years old, but one time I drank alcohol. But they're like, what are you talking about, genocide? We're just like skateboarding. Like they're allowed to have a variety of experiences. They're not just like, you are gonna go and you're gonna be exactly the Chinese the way that we want you to be Chinese. Like, oh, you want to watch American movies? You want to watch Tony Hawk? Go watch Tony Hawk. You want to watch the Chinese skaters? Yeah, watch China. Here, also, you want to watch Uyghur celebrities? The biggest celebrities in China are Uyghur. The Uyghur language is on their money, and they're just like, yeah, I mean, I feel really good. It's like too safe. The skateboarding kid is like, you know what? It's too safe in Urumqi. Like, there's so much safety here. There's a cops right down the street. I mean, I feel too safe. I mean, I would like to get into more trouble, but we're so safe here. You know, and it's different. American police, you know, they're there to round you up. They're slave catchers. See, in China, when there's police, they actually arrest the criminals, and they like I don't know, executives of multi-billion-dollar companies. They don't do that in America. No American 2008-2009 financial crisis bankster head have ever rolled, and they never will. And the biggest war criminals in the country and the biggest billionaire plutocratic shit posters to $1 trillion like Elon Musk will never. They're making money murdering y'all. Jeff Bezos is over there rolling in his fucking dough. But in China, they actually arrest the executives and the cops disproportionately. You know, it's really unfair. You know, it's like, why are you targeting rich people that are destroying millions of lives, extracting the labor value from so many people, and then literally collaborating with Western governments to further warfare? Why would you, you know, but that's why they call it authoritarian there. But anyways, but you know, they actually like, you know, arrest some people that are actually causing trouble. You know, I mean, and if they're killing people, if people are going around driving a fucking truck through downtown, I don't want people like, you know, I said this like on the previous stream. I was like, if there was some extremely radical Hawaiian subgroup that was like, we are so radical, you have to do things exactly the way, you have to be Hawaiian the way that we say. If you don't be Hawaiian the way we say, your Hawaiian wife, she has to go back in, and she has to like prepare only pau and poi. That's all she can do. She can make children and pau and poi. That's all she can do. That's not how Hawaiian culture was, but it's a warped version. Like, it's a warped version of Islam, right? The ISIS, the Islam extremists is a warped version of Islam, right? That the United States people like Sam Harris go, that's just what Islam is. It's all evil. All Muslims are bad. That's why we got to go to Iraq and blow them up. In 2001, at the Enlightenment 2.0 conference, which Scott Atran literally debated with him, and it said, like, this is not the way to stop extremism. It's just by screaming at the top of your lungs false things about Islam. It's to, you know what it is? You know what It's got to. I remember this specifically because this is right at the lead up to the Rock War. This is about taking all the new atheists, right? All the not new metal. That's fine. You can listen to your Linkin Park, but new atheists. You can skateboard to Tony Hawk and scratch your fingers up in Xinjiang or in downtown, Pololo, or in downtown Manoa in Hawaii. That's okay, while listening to your new metal. But the new atheists, right? Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens, were like, oh, I see. All the kids are like, this is a reaction against the Quiverful movement and the right wing culture war deep into Christianity after the hippies, and they're swinging back. The youth are swinging back. A lot of these millennials, elder millennials to early Z, are swinging into this new atheist. They're rebelling against it. You know what we have to do? We have to get some atheists to push to round. We already got the neocons to round all the religious Christians into holy wars to bring Jesus Christ on a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex, carrying a Remington rifle in one hand and a Bible in the other, fucking laser beaming all the Muslims and then bringing about the rapture. We got the neocons. We'll get the Christian military industrial propaganda hurting them. Now we got to get the atheist military industrial propaganda hurting all the bombs into Iraq. So that's what Sam Harris was for. Was about going, you know what? The biggest problem on earth is religion. And you know what the biggest, just like I'm atheist, but you know what's really the problem? Islam. So we got to go and exterminate all the Iraqis now. Okay, all right, atheists, 30 to 45-year-olds, making YouTube videos debating the existence of God and, the virtue ethics versus, what Kant said and this other dead white guy said. That's really important. But you know what's more important than what the dead white European said? What's even more important than that is shooting missiles into Abu Ghraib. That's really important. You know what is more important? Crashing Boeing 737. Dropping F-16 Tomahawks into Fallujah. That's more important than whatever some dead white guy said that you're talking about on YouTube, having very nerdy science fiction and Star Trek reference filled Aristotelian conversations. What's more important though? What's more important, Sam Harris, make sure to really make this point when you go to Enlightenment 2.0 and you have a bunch of best-selling New York Times books so that we can manufacture more war. Make sure that you tell all the atheists that the most important thing is murdering all the Muslims, because that will cleanse the world of the most dangerous religion on the face of the planet, which Sam Harris, you know what he's into now? Neurodivergence, right? How actually women's brains and people of color's brains are genetically inferior. Well, they're not inferior. They're just designed differently and they shouldn't get STEM jobs. So back MAGA and MAGA, you know what you're going to do? You're going to back the war in China. So, and also back racism, which benefits white supremacy and capitalism and imperialism, which are all integral. So good job, Sam. Sam made a lot of money. He made a lot of money. I call him he's the Enlightenment Gusano. He's like, the Enlightenment was itself some European nonsense, but there's never been any civilization there. It's a barbarism-filled shithole of feudalism, capitalism, slavery, backing their CEOs and their kings and their masters, respectively. Anyways, but that's really cute. The good job plagiarizing the indigenous people, Maslow and Thomas Jefferson, and Blackfoot literally was the blueprint for Maslow's pyramid, which is the U.S. military. Anyway. Good job, and anarchists and Marxists actually plagiarize indigenous. So good job plagiarizing, you barbarous stormtroopers. But anyways. So but those videos are really I really recommend the New Moves channel. If you haven't seen the New Moves channel, highly recommend. Also, Alex from Xinjiang. You don't have to believe everything that he says, but I mean, listen. I'm listening to who the kids are talking about. They're like, oh yeah, Tony Hawk, this skater. I remember we were talking about that, and it's like, we're making decisions that are not the best, right, as teenagers. But then being able to make some decisions that are not the best decisions, and even like rebel against your family, your government. They're even saying like, I'm not going to listen to all of these police, and that suggests that that's not good necessarily, right? But that suggests that they have a degree of freedom. And it's in a very like half-assed, you just like kind of having conversation. There's people walking in and out of the shopping mall, right? And he's like, if this was in Canada, all these skaters would be banned. They're getting their ass kicked out of this mall right now, right? And it's not like that's the only one. There's a plethora of these videos all over the place, right? And it's not just the video. Again, that's just one piece. You're like, all of Urumqi and every town that every single YouTuber or video maker, and there are thousands of them, who have ever been anywhere, they're all given CCP guided tours. China is taking the economy that has already expanded, if you count purchasing power parity, beyond the United States by a long shot. They're taking all their money and they have an entire country that is just an entire theater of actors. There's lights and camera. It's like the Truman Show for 1.4 billion people. That's the whole fucking thing. Is fake. It's a fake country. It's a fake country. It's all communism. Communism. CCP propaganda. Oh, look at this reanimated zombies. Look at this AI powered reanimate. There's fucking a lot. I mean, it's like the new movies are important because like it's comedy, right? He's doing comedy. He's like walking down the street. I'm walking down the street in Shanghai. Oh my God! The Western media says that China created the virus, and there should be like, America was the most prepared country in the world, and the West is doing so much better. The U.S. and the U.K. right? And if the U.S. has had, it had at the time 400,000 deaths and multi-tens of millions of cases. I mean, China, it's 1.4 billion people. It must have like 3 billion cases and like 7 billion deaths, right? I mean, like, their economy should be ground to a halt. With America is like its economy crashed by 50%. Nobody's flying in planes. All of its CrossFit gyms, all of its restaurants and its yoga places are all shut down. And the consumer and the event economy, if you add it all up, it's like 50% of the entire United States. They're all getting. China's economy should be in the doldrums and destroyed like the United States. Everybody should be dying with cases. Why is there like 10 cases for a 1 billion person country, and America has fucking 150,000 a day? America has more. Like one entire province of China has as many cases as like half a American liberal or conservative household at any given second. It's like 10 cases. America fucking opens its mouth and there's like 20 cases because they're opening their mouth in each other's faces. Blasting COVID is a Nazi 5G, ray gun conspiracy from the dark side of the moon, which they have already landed on, and America's still fucking out how to get their fucking rockets with Mr. Elon, big genius brain fucking rocket man, to get his rockets to not explode. But the Nazi 5G conspiracy to beam hardworking lung Americans full of 5G COVID-19, and it's all fake. It's fake. It's Schrodinger's virus. Is it the real problem, or is it like the scourge of the world bioterror that's here to annihilate every exploding cops gender reveal party that's gonna burn down the rest of California this summer? I mean, I'm long water for California because they're gonna use half the water to try to attempt to put out the wildfires and fail. So I'm also long dead Ewok buddies in Marin County, where George Lucas won't be able to film any more Star Wars because the entire Hollywood is being destroyed by China, which has the highest grossing movies for every year for the rest of eternity, it seems, and also because all the Ewoks' forests will all be incinerated piles of formerly redwood ash. So, I mean, like, but is it Schrodinger's fucking planetary scourge, or is it fake? America can't figure out what the virus is. Is there or is there not a virus? And then Schrodinger's Uyghur, Schrodinger's Wall Street executive, Schrodinger's DC think tank, multimillionaire, Schrodinger's virus. Everything is in a quantum. See, America is a very advanced quantum country. China has the best supercomputers in the world. That's why America's companies have. Biden administration is doing the genius move of sanctioning 7 Chinese companies and then shooting itself in the foot because now it can't get this nanometer. It's 7 nanometer chips and all of the microchips and semiconductors and other important electronic and computational parts to build any of its fucking cars and its planes and its PS4s, and everybody's over there fucking limping around dying from their dead economy. But anyways. But it's but America's very quantum in that way, right? When it's secretly trying to get the smuggling supercomputers from China. Oh, please give us a supercomputer. No, but you're very bad though. Quantum Chinese computation, quantum Chinese intellectual property. Are the Chinese stealing your intellectual property and you want to punish them, or are you taking their intellectual property and you're applauding what they created? Like, bad, very bad, very bad. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry, GM and Ford. You can't make any more trucks. Who's listening now at the Alaskan conference? Is it the corporations listening, or is it the American people? Okay, everybody Mike Pompeo, random Hispanic $3 an hour slave that's or Filipino COVID vaccine deliverer on a silver platter. Go into the ears of your abuser and rapist. That's, go into the corporate executive ears where you're working in that little gold-plated penthouse. Stuff it cotton in their ears so they can't hear what I'm about to say in an Alaskan meeting between the Chinese administration and ourselves. Okay. China so bad. Fuck you, China. Fuck you, you're genocide. You're Uyghur. We're gonna sanction every company. No more chips. No more nothing. No more supercomputers. No more chips. No more PS4s. No more TVs. You're so bad. Okay, American people, please re-elect me because I hate fucking China. And military, please give me money. Okay, take the cotton out of the ears of all of the GM, Ford, Boeing, and every other actually productive U.S. industry, with the exception of maybe Lockheed. Actually, Lockheed needs fucking semiconductors and fuselages for their missiles, which are made in China as well. But anyway, take your fucking content. Okay, you know what? We love China. We love you so much, Schrodinger's China. We love you so much. Please keep giving us semiconductors so that we don't lose another $60 billion worth of trucks that we can't make and we lose millions more American jobs. Please give us a... I love you so much, China. I love you so much. Okay, wait. Shit. Oh no. We forgot to plug the 328 million broke-ass Americans' ears. That's the face. That's Blinken's face. China's like, you fucking duplicitous Americans. You don't have the place to tell anybody. Blinken's like, oh shit. Who was I working for? Was I working for more Lockheed or was I working for more GM and Ford today? Was I working for, Samsung, and was I working for Apple and this entity and Amazon, or was I working for for DC think tanks? I can't remember. Who was I working for? I don't know. Do I hate or do I love China? Schrodinger's billionaire war criminal plutocrat puppet. Who do I work for? I don't know. This is my see, America is very advanced. America has a quantum singularitarian mind. It's Schrodinger's brain, right? What am I doing today? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Is it a fake virus? Is it a real virus? Is it killing 550,000 people, or is it just a little flu? I don't fucking know. What am I doing? What is it? The news is saying 3 different things. What the fuck is happening here? Well, I mean, that's what happens, It's very advanced though. America is like a Star Trek. America is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Type 7 civilization, rat constructed, genius ultra supercomputer made from like 1 trillion Dyson spheres and the entire, greater attractor network worth of energy powered brain. It's a giant fucking, not just a galaxy brain, it's a 7 trillion galaxy brain. It's like a universe brain. It's an entire universe. It's like the Beyonders brain, factorial to the nth power brain. It's such a huge brain. In America, right? Like all of their brains all together, every American brain contains within it. It's like a concentric circles. It's a matryoshka American brain. It's that matryoshka is Russian, and that's red, that's communist, and that's bad. But it can simultaneously be good because we're all in quantum American brain, where it's Schrodinger's fucking brain, right? So in America is a fractal Mandelbrot network of genius universe brain, right? And it's so fucking genius there, right? Like Elon Musk, I'm worth $200 billion. He's literally worth $200 billion because, as he said, the people are paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problems that they solve. That's why he's a universe brain, like every American, right? Otherwise they wouldn't be Americans. That's why all the black people are embedded in prison, because they weren't American enough. So anyway, in this giant concentric Mandelbrot American brain, you can simultaneously, it's so advanced, right? Beyond anything any Star Trek Voyager has ever boldly gone and discovered before. American brain is so advanced, it can simultaneously have love China, hate China, kind of be weird on China, in between, support human rights, destroy human rights. It can do all the things all at the same time. COVID can literally alter reality. It's a quantum metaverse entanglement. It's the worst Thor movie, right? But it's really the best Thor movie because of quantum American brain. Thor: The Dark World, right? You're simultaneously in 7 different realities at the same time. In this reality, right? The Iraqis self-exploded their hospitals, and then simultaneously America bombed them, right? When I'm talking to Lockheed Martin, I'm like, yes, we successfully bombed 300 hospitals. Oh wait, I mean, the strongman regime accidentally dropped too much very red communist Russian C4 and accidentally blew up all of their hospitals. Why would they do that? That's a really weird thing to do. And then you can, why would you do that? Hey, Falcon and Winter Soldier, you better go investigate and liberate Iraq again from all of their authoritarian, self-destructing hospitals. That's really weird. I don't know why you'd do that. Why would you do that? You could be like, oh, COVID is a Wuhan flu. It's a COVID conspiracy. The Chinese bat eating is just bringing up all this sick men of Asia are sickening all of our unsick white men, and they're making them really sick. It's not like we don't wash our butt all the time. It's fucking spread Black Death and have murdered 1/3 of ourselves. And also we are fucking disgusting and not wearing masks despite 70 trillion times. Even their CDC heads in America, Dr. Fauci, telling you, please wear the fucking mask. Wear the motherfucking mask. But oh no, masks are bad. Let's have huge protests like in Canada, like in the United States today, like mask burning parties. Let's just like go down the street, throw the mask in a fucking file because masks don't work. It's Schrodinger's mask. Is it on or is it off? I don't know. Where the fuck is it? Where is it, Biden? Where's the fucking mask? Is it on or off? I don't know. I don't care. Whatever is gonna make me the most money today, right? See the solution to the solution to the Einstein-Rosen bridge, or I should say, the solution to the solution to E equals MC squared. The solution to the quantum American universe brain problem is whatever makes me the most money today. That's the observer that positions it at any given second, right? Oh, Uyghurs being too liberated and too much social work, too housed, too educated, and having too much Uyghur language, being able to eat their own tandoori, disproportionately goat and lamb. If you like goat and lamb, you go to Xinjiang. They have a lot of. I was watching them eat a lot of this really cool. I was like, I want to go eat some of that fucking food. I love goat. I like lamb and goat. I mean, again, if you're vegan, I know, but I mean, like, that's what they're using the resources in a desert region that historically they have a lot of dry brush and goats. But anyways, too much goat and lamb and indigenous Uyghur food. They're indigenous people, actually. Thousands of years. All of China is indigenous people. Too much indigenous food, too much Muslim language. You're supporting the Uyghurs too much. Why are their birth rates going up? Why are their cultural sites 2.5 times as many mosques as they had a few decades ago? Why are you? Oh wait, no. Schrodinger's Uyghur is now genocided Uyghur. Oh my God, they're blowing up all their mosques. All the mosques demolished. Oh shit, was that a picture of us demolishing mosques in Iraq and Libya? Oh shit, is that a Tony Stark missile? I'm sorry, is that a Lockheed Martin missile stuck in the ground in Libya, unexploded, next to 25 exploded missiles and like little bits of Iraqi children around all their dead mosques? Oops, it's Schrodinger's Stark missile. That wasn't a Stark missile, that was a Red Russian missile. That was a Cuban Missile Crisis, which is about Cuba shooting missiles into Iraq. The Cubans shot the missile and they blew it up. It wasn't Tony Stark, Elon Musk, who am I talking to? I don't know. Who am I talking to? Is it the American people or is it Americans' actual government, which is the plutocracy? Can't remember. What year is it? Is it 2017? Oh, that means it's Uyghurs are being too liberated and they're being too benefited and they're having such great lives. Oh no, it's 2021. I'm time traveling. Oh no, it's time to kill all the Uyghurs. It's time to claim that the Chinese are killing all the Uyghurs. That's right. Oh, look, it's 1892. It's time to genocide the Hawaiians. The Hawaiians are backward, disgusting human beings that are all living in this smiles of pit, as opposed to they're living in their own shit in the grass huts. Oh, and then the quantum Hawaiian. Oh, now it's 2020. Hawaiians are just having such great, happy lives, so liberated by the colonizer. The Hawaiians, we love the Hawaiians so much. Oh shit, wait, it's 1890. It's 1882 again. Oh no, it's time to have Hawaiians dressed up like the N-word with polywog hair, made to look like a bunch of backward savages. Oh no, now it's the Hawaiians in the European Congress in the mid 1800s at the Paris Accord, where the European, French, British, Americans, and Germans and all of the Scandinavians are going, the Hawaiians have a higher literacy rate than every other European country. They have subaquatic vehicle literally functioning blueprints before we've even finished fucking 20,000 leagues under the sea. The Hawaiians have they have free citizens that are black and Asian when we still have black slaves, and we have Chinese people carrying around British fucking ass hats like Mr. fucking Prince Philip's family, Prince Nazi Philip's family, all over their shoulders. Oh no, these Hawaiians are more socially, politically, economically, and literacy-wise advanced than us Europeans. Oh no, what are we gonna do? Oh wait, no, now we have to report to the American people, oh, they're all a bunch of savages. Right? Schrodinger's Hawaiian. Is it a European internal discussion about what we're gonna do about the Hawaiians to shove them back into ghettoization, or are we talking to our diseducated European and American and British masses? Oh, the Hawaiians are a bunch of backwards people. That's why we have to save them with a coup, legal stealing and annexation of the Hawaiian people country, as admitted by Presidents Grover Cleveland and President Bill Clinton in a written formal apology in 1892, and multiple illegal coup attempts, and then deindustrialize, diseducate them. Right? Oh no, who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? That's the Western brain. It's quantum it's a quantum superimposed wavical brain. You know, is it a wave or is it a particle? Is it a particle of some is it a particle of COVID, or is it a wave of Chinese bioterror? I don't know what it is. I don't know anything. I'm a fucking dumbass, diseducated, brain poisoned Westerner. Anyway. So, you know, I do be like that though. Anyway, so that's the comedy routine. But again, so you see, I'm doing comedy in service of anti-imperialism, anti-racism, and anti-capitalism. There's a difference between that and then doing comedy that is punching down and punching at omnis, it's punching simultaneously in all directions to keep going with this quantum metaverse metaphor. You know, it's like the Thanos gauntlet. You know, it just punches at. It's like the Thanos gauntlet times 2. So you can snap and you don't just kill half of the people in the world in some kind of weird, literally encrypted attack on the communists because China was having the one-child policy. You don't have to snap the space communists by billionaire arms dealer, Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and DC amalgamation, Mr. Iron Man. You know, you don't just snap half the universe, right? You can snap the entire world, right? That's when you are making comedy that is backing the U.S. military's war propaganda. You are snapping 2 Thanos gloves because you're gonna kill everyone when the nuclear war breaks out, because you can't do limited warm war in the fucking South China Sea with a nuclear superpower. You can't do. The Navy is actually literally saying there's a high probability of nuclear war. Colonel Wilkerson, who has been a big whistleblower on all this, has said this is batshit unhinged. This is omnicidal. We have to de-escalate this. There's been other whistleblowers in the military, in the Pentagon. They're like, this has to be countered. If we do this destructive, if this war happens, this will definitely kill thousands. Ultimately, could kill easily millions. A war between U.S. and China. Even if it doesn't get super hot, if it does get super hot, that's the end for everyone. And the U.S. military, in a Wired article, Wired is just like is the military's professional programmers and drone artificial intelligence manufacturers, a rag of note. There's a whole article talking about how America is going to be in a warm hot war, detailing missile strikes between the United States, India, and China. How that's all going to. It's like literally like a science fictional. Like speculative fiction 2025 to 2040 novel in form of Western Imperial rag articles. Like it's like a 25 story series. That's all like, oh, this is how we're gonna. This is the hypersonic missiles that are in the Typodongs that will be launched from X and Y port in the strait off of the coast of Singapore, and then the Indians will come here. The Japanese will shoot these. And then 35 American vessels sunk, 65 Chinese vessels sunk, blah, blah, blah. The Russians get involved, the Iranians are sending oil reserves, Bitcoin reaches an all-time high, blah, 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 because we're all going to be Bitcoin billionaires while making billions of dollars selling the missiles too. As if the nuclear war, and they're like, the most frightening thing about that was, these are like very highly paid, very intelligent coders and like Star Trek and science fiction lovers who are actually doing a lot of the anti-China policy, the programming, the AI, the software development that are working on the missiles and the automated systems, the hybrid war, the social media consent manufacture through interactive CNN, that is Twitter, the interactive Fox, that is Facebook, the every other platform except this. This is really nice. This is a really good one. You know, we all love our surveillance capitalist overlords here. But anyways, and these people are like eating this shit up. Unfortunately, they're like, oh yeah, no, a war in which America and China are trading missile strikes and tactical nuclear weapons, and it doesn't escalate beyond our control, is totally feasible. That sounds totally normal. That's there's no way that anything bad could happen from that, right? And also, they're writing it like it's inevitable. Like, it's inevitable that we will be trading missiles, F-35 strikes, cluster bomb munitions dropped from fucking B-52s that are tested on my sacred mountain here on Mauna Kea, where they drop 15,000 pounds of C4 equivalent bombs with U.S. Army and Navy and Air Force, joint joint strikes. Oh, it's very tactical. It's very, very laser guided. We take a lot of lasers. We take this ion cannon and we randomly shoot it all over the planet and precision laser guided with the malfunctioning lasers that were built in the Boeing 737 plants using fucking using a fucking $2 laser pointer that we got from China. And then, oh shit, China, can we have some more semiconductors so we can finish our ion cannon to blow you up with? China's like, no more doom rays, okay, America, no more doom rays. You know, they're dropping bombs on the mountain, right? Like a few nights ago, it sounded like like a series of 10 thunderclaps all happening one after the other. That's not thunder. It's not a volcanic explosion, and it's not thunder. It's definitely they're bombing the mountain. It's within miles of us where they're doing this. Okay, so don't please, don't do that because we don't want to get drone bombed. They're actually practicing drone strikes there as well. No, but the nice thing is, like, I live in a neighborhood. There's a 7-year-old white dude like right across the street, and he's like Dutch and he's all boomer. So it really helps. I don't want too many, but it's nice because America's not gonna bomb a neighborhood with like rich white billionaire hippies fucking having their yoga spandex fucking. It's Schrodinger's hippie. Schrodinger's billionaire Silicon Valley hippie. Oh shit, is my pants on or off? I don't know. Do I want to wear spandex today, or do I want to take it off, shake my penis all around, and then buy some more Amazon stock by the billion? I don't know. What do I feel like doing today? Do I want to go to a fucking anal cleanse where they inject kale and ayahuasca, or do I want to make some more money selling missiles to fucking our moderate rebels somewhere in the Middle East? I don't know. What do I feel like doing today? Am I going to go to a cleanse in the Hawaii somewhere? Am I going to go hang out with some Hawaiians and pretend to do the ritual while coughing in their face and giving them COVID-19 and killing some more of them with all the plague that I killed a whole swath of their population? I don't know. What do I feel like doing today? I'm Schrodinger's hippie, but actually I'm a fucking warmonger. I like having some of them here because the main thing is the Hawaiians maintain control. They can't get their way in the Hawaiian government. But having some of them here means Americans won't stop bombing the mountain and just bomb us, right? It's literally, that's the insurance policy against American fucking bombing all Hawaiians from the face of the planet, is having a few other billionaire children here. It's not too bad. I don't want them to own all the islands though. Larry Ellison, you gotta get the fuck out of here. Larry Ellison, fucking Mark Zuckerberg, your 700-acre farm that is stopping Native Hawaiians from collecting our medicines and our food and fishing grounds, banning us from the beach, suing the state of Hawaii to the illegally occupying state of Hawaii. Mark Zuckerberg is suing them to force Native Hawaiians from our ancestral grounds. Now, Mark, you got to get the fuck out of here. Fuck, no Mark, no Larry. Go back, fucking play basketball with Shaq and fucking the reanimated Michael Jordan. So like, stop playing basketball with Shaq and Michael Jordan on the back of your 300-foot yacht with 6 helicopter pads and 25 golden toilets, and having underpaid Marshallese children jump into the water and get eaten by sharks trying to rescue the balls for $3 an hour. Okay, Larry, go to fuck home. Take one of your 7 yachts. Go home. Take the other 6 yachts and shove them into your anus. Go home. But some of the billionaire kids who are just useless fucking YouTubers making fake Western left tube videos. I mean, you can stick around and make your raw vegan Imperial cleanse, whatever. That's fine. You're not gonna do shit, I mean, I wish that you would stop making these stupid videos, but I mean, that's okay. But their daddies hanging over here. Go back to New York, go back to California, go back to the UK, go back to London, sip some fucking tea, and cry over your dead Nazi daddy, Prince Philip. Cry over your fucking royal feudal family in your neo-feudal hyper-capitalist London, right? Just go back the fuck home, please. Anyways, so yeah, no, I think I said a lot. Well, I want to get to some very specific stories now. The comedy routine time's up. Oh, I want to say on this image that I shared. The top is obviously that's Akon City that is currently being built. As I said, like I threw some shade at some of the black community, not the people of color, because there's rappers of all, there's Samoan and there's Asian and there's brown rappers, and it's not. I want to be clear. It's like the ones that are taking money from the U.S. that are harming their own communities by backing white supremacy and backing capitalism. But Akon is somebody who did very well in the music industry in the United States to balance that out, right? And Akon has helped, in collaboration with the Chinese government, has helped to liberate 400 to actually, talking about what people need, electricity, right? 400 million people who didn't have electricity now have solar power backed electricity in Africa, including in Senegal, where his mother is from, who grew up his entire life reading and trying to do work by candlelight. Never had electricity in the 20th century, and it's 40 years later, she still didn't have electricity. And Akon was like, I'm gonna like work with the Chinese, anybody I can work with, America, Europe, Germany, Sweden. You're so good, right, with your ombudsman and your SOCDEM. You're so nice, right? Sweden, Germany, France, Denmark, any of Bernie Sanders' favorite countries. Anybody want to work with me? Let's work to bring electricity to people who need it. They wouldn't work with, who would work with Akon? The Chinese. And that's why he said, I'll fuck with the Chinese. I don't trust the Western banks, the WTO, the IMF, these humanitarian aid, this humanitarian foreign aid. This hasn't worked. That's why I have to come and do this myself. So it's a Senegalese African and the Chinese working together, and they brought electricity to 400 million people. It was one of his initiatives. And he'll say yeah, I made some money, but I mean, this is not just I put together a lot of the investment into this. It does take money and investment to get things done. But this is a collaboration. This is they asked him like, so you will fuck with the Chinese? Because I've heard a lot. Another black guy was like, I heard a lot of bad things about them. They're imperializing. There's a debt trap. They're doing infrastructure diplomacy. They're doing vaccine diplomacy. Those are our Western ideas that are taking a good thing, which is what, giving vaccines to people who need vaccines, right? As Giannis Varoufakis once said, when a Western white Harvard fucking Ivy League looking lady stood up, wealthy white lady in the East Coast at a conference, and Giannis Varoufakis, a Greek finance minister, former Greek finance minister, and also internationalist leftist from Greece, was like, well, I heard the Chinese they're only building ports and roads and electrical and telecom infrastructure and water grids because they have an ulterior motive, and they just want to imperialize, just like what we did, right? She didn't say that, but they're just trying to control and colonize Africa, right? And Giannis is like, what's wrong with ports? People need ports. We're building ports, right? In Greece, we needed ports, and he said we did a deal with the Germans. The Germans were offering German corporations and U.S. banks were bloodletting Greece. They are still in a lot of ways bloodletting Greece for the terrible austerity they undergone for over a decade, right? And our hospitals were skeletalized. The giant vulture capitalists from Wall Street were buying up all of our beachfront property, all of our airports and our seaports. They were just destroying it all and just buying up our property, beachfront, mansion property for pennies on the dollar. It was a disaster. Poverty was double-digit percentage increases, suicide, drug use, all through the roof. Kind of like being in a black or brown community in Hawaii or in a ghetto in America. That's what they did to Greece. But even worse in a lot of ways. The fascist party exploded, kind of like the fascist party exploded in America as its austerity ratcheted up. And Giannis was like, we needed ports, and the German and Americans were having contract labor. They were not rebuilding. They were just eating our entire country and leaving us in shambles and forcing us to pay back unpayable loans and then ratcheting up the debt, just like what they do to Africa. And Giannis was like, they're treating us but because Greeks are the 300, and we want to make it's Schrodinger's Greek, right? Are these the fathers of your civilization, the great Western civilization, the genius brain, Jordan Petersonian, fucking Ben Shapiro's, Stefan Molyneux, and all of these fucking the great Western proud boy civilization from Greece? They're Richard Spencer. Look at the high forehead. Never mind the fact that they were all white. Actually, a lot of Greeks were a lot darker than what they're made to look. Just like white Jesus. He didn't look like the color of fucking cocaine that you're all snorting with all the blood money that you get extorting it from brown and black people. The Western civilization, right? They talk about it's Schrodinger's Greek. Are the Greeks here to look like the great white, big forehead, Teutonic brain that came up with democracy and all these important rights that we claim to profess that we have, that when we don't? Schrodinger's democracy, quantum democracy, or is Greece a lazy, very welfare queen? That's what the same thing they do to Greece. The Germans, the Austrians, the American, the French, the British are like, the Greeks are lazy. They're backward. They're lazy. They're ineffectual. They are deadbeats. They don't pay anything back. They don't want to do anything. They're just a bunch of bums. They're a bunch of beach bums. You know, they're all slitting on their beach. They don't want to do. They're complaining about austerity, but it's just because they don't pay their debts. They should pay back 7 times what we loaned to them. And by we, I mean Goldman Sachs through subprime sovereign debt, shenanigans to manufacture Greece into the EU. They should pay every penny back because all of Europe is a bunch of little puppets. They bow down to the big daddy US to keep doing imperialism for their ongoing neocolonialism. Oh, you are they Greeks though? So Schrodinger, are Greeks like black people of Europe? I mean, by black I mean the racist trope of black people in the West. Are Greeks just the N-words of Europe, or are they the great fathers, the most established, like the alabaster people in fucking Prometheus? Are they like the ultimate white people, the ultimate transcendent, super intelligent alien white people from which all of the white civilization has spawned in Europe and America and the settler colonial countries? Or are they the fucking black and so it's a Schrodinger's Greek. Is it black or white? It's like flipping colors. It's like, what time of day is it? Am I talking to the Bundesbank, or am I talking to a bunch of racists at a fucking rally, far right Nazi rally with Richard Spencer giving a speech, not getting punched? What day is it? Who am I talking to right now? Schrodinger's Greeks. Do I need to make another $10 billion bloodletting the Greeks of all of the infrastructure, their hospitals, their education, their pensions decimated into a third? Should I just take all of their money and all their and I'm trying to give that to a bunch of rich German banks and American banks, French banks, and UK fucking money laundering, war crime, blood money facilities that pass for banks? What are we doing today? What are we, Schrodinger's Greek, the great father of civilization, or the fucking N-word lazy welfare queen sitting on its Greek butt? Your noses are so big. Your noses are all this weird shape. Oh, let's smash all the noses off of the statues. Oh, you're just big fat Greek. You know, like my big fat Greek. You know, you're just gross. You're just gross, lazy bums sitting on the beach, eating all of your moussaka. You're eating moussaka. You're just lazy. Get your butt back to work and pay us back every fucking cent that we gave you, because we're Western Europeans and we do human rights. Just like we did the same thing to the Greeks, or we did to Africa. And that's why Giannis is like, when this fucking white upper crust fucking banker wife, trophy wife of some fucking New York WASP, right? Probably works for Goldman Sachs. He's like telling him, oh, but the Chinese, they could be doing such bad things in Africa. And Giannis is like, you're doing such bad things to us in Greece. You should talk to, you know what you should do? You should invite Madeleine Albright. You should invite your across the pond Cthulhu birthing British feudal capitalist, feudal imperialist, and you should bring over what's her fucking name? Blight Masters, the fucking the engineer of a lot of the financial crisis. You should bring all of your British bankers and British royalty, and you guys talk to each other about how dangerous China is. Because you're talking to me, I'm a fucking person from a country that got bloodlet and crushed into austerity, and my country's resources extracted in vulture predatory capitalism for y'all. You know, with the collaboration with some of our oligarchs, kind of the way that you give a bunch of money to some fucking oligarch puppet in an African country. You're doing the same thing that you do to Africa that you do to us. Not exactly the same, it's worse for them, but you're doing very similar things. What? No, the Chinese have, and they brought up the fact that the Chinese, when they came to Africa, when they came to Greece, the Chinese offered to rebuild ports. They said, we'll give you ports, and then at the beginning, they made some bad deals where it was like, or it was not as good. It was like 60% of the revenue was going, it was the ownership of the Greek ports would have been 60% for the Greek, 60% for the Chinese, 40% for the Greeks. They were using subcontracted labor from American and Western corporations, I might add, subcontracting the labor for the physical infrastructure rebuilding. I'm talking about, putting the planks down, laying the cement, doing all the important work, right? The bulldozing and all that for the ports. And it's a multi-billion-dollar deal to rebuild Greece's ports that they needed to get their business going, right? To get their development going. And they said, Giannis, like, using subcontracted labor, we don't have enough bargaining power. You're not allowing worker organizing to bargain for better wages and better benefits, and you're not allowing what was the last thing? Worker wage better benefits. Oh, and also our pensions are too skimpy. We need better pensions for the workers. Giannis was negotiating with the Chinese directly, and they said, okay, we'll think about that. they went back to Beijing, and then the representatives from China came back and they said, okay, they gave 51% ownership to the Greeks. They gave them the bargaining power. They stopped the subcontracting of labor, the wage, which makes it really hard to get good wages. And they increased the pensions. So the Chinese were very reasonable. They said, you know what, you Greek people, you need help. We're gonna help you. You know what, you Greek people, again, that's actual social work. You guys need infrastructure. You guys need ports. You get ports, right? Like the Uyghurs in Xinjiang, who are formerly in poverty, have, millions of them brought out of poverty, right? Poverty alleviation, the number one thing, China's the second biggest grossing movie was about Chinese poverty, about their poverty alleviation, not about their billionaire philanthropist, arms dealer, fucking playboy warmongers. Unlike America. What was it? Wonder Woman. Oh, look, it's Woman Iron Man going around the world backing fucking genocidal regimes above Gaza, fucking blowing up the world. Oh, look, what's the biggest movie right now? Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier, about fucking revisionist, talking about how Libya was liberated by America. Oh, America cares about Libya's border so fucking much. Schrodinger's Libya. When we're going in there, y'all are fucking bombed to the Stone Age, bombed to slave markets. But when it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier in the first 20 minutes of the fucking show, of the first episode of a Marvel flagship that's in every fucking Twitter feed, news feed, fucking mainstream TV, and fucking Google search, it's fucking everywhere. The first 20 minutes, like, oh, we're gonna save Libya with my fucking Falcon suit, dodging fucking Russian evil missiles. Oh my God, it's only 30 seconds to the border. Quick, Falcon, he's like, no, I can do this. I can save Libya. I swear to God, I can stop the border crossing into Libya because I care about borders so much. I care about the part of that narrative is to destroy all the anarchists who are like, no states, no borders, the flag smashers. It's like, it's that's the propaganda against all y'all, that's why I have the Ryan Gosling Pikachu song. But anyways, be careful. But keep doing the work. But just be aware that's what they're trying to do, and also be aware that's what they're trying to do. The Falcon and Winter Soldier is it's anti-anarchist, it's anti-decolonization, and it is pro-America going back into Libya and doing some more Libya murder, and bomb them some more. It's for the human rights of the Libyans. Schrodinger's Libya, right? When it's in a Marvel movie, we're all saving Libya. We're not gonna touch their airspace. When it's an international illegal war of aggression, we're gonna fucking, under Hillary Clinton and Biden and the Obama administration, we're gonna fly the fucking, murder every last fucking Libyan. We don't care if, the unrest that we were ostensibly supposed to be invading under the false pretext that we're supposed to be invading under for the human rights of the Libyans, making their economy scream with our sanctions, with our international weapons of mass financial destruction, which we conveniently leave out. The Libyans, they needed to have slave markets. Slavery is liberation. War is peace. Truth is lies. Libyan slavery is Libyan freedom. Schrodinger's Libyan. I may have just misquoted Orwell, but anyways, so in Africa, what has America done what is all the West, Europe, right? America, Australia, all they've all done in fucking Africa. And then the Chinese, they come back and they're like, that sounds pretty good. I mean, again, they're not going to do everything for free. Although they have forgiven multi-billions of loans to Cuba, they have deferred tens of billions to Venezuela of loans, as opposed to what is the West doing to Greece? Not even to Africa, to the so-called the greatest Western civilization that they're always looking up to, including Thomas Jefferson with his Greco-Roman fluted columns around his 260 fucking black slaves at Monticello, around the United States Capitol, modeled off of Greek architecture, right? Because because part of the Greek thing was like, well, we don't like British because they're monarchists. They're feudalists, right? With their Prince Philip, Schrodinger's Philip. Was he a fucking Nazi or is he a fucking liberator of the free peoples fighting fascist? Well, no, the World War II was a fascist against fascist fight, and America and Britain backed the fucking fascists. Ford made multi-billions of dollars selling, constructing Nazi bullets, assault rifles, tanks, and fucking aircraft and bombs, and sued and won against the United States for bombing Ford's factories. So no, and Prince Philip was a fucking he was surrounded by constantly Nazis. He was born into a feudal fucking family, and then he was on some fucking, every royal family has to be on some fucking ships They're not on the front lines getting their faces ripped off by fucking bullets. But somebody literally told me that in that stream yesterday. But anyways, who cares about some dead ass UK empire? They're all fucking gone now. They're a bunch. They're just America's money laundering. They're like They're America's sad little accountant sitting in the back, trying to keep their feudal, neo-feudal, and capitalist elite in fucking penthouses and palaces. That's all Britain is, and killing all their mass working class people and all their essential workers, especially the black and the brown ones. Anyways, so what is America and Europe and Britain? What have you all done for Africa? Nothing. What have you done for Greece? Fucking bloodlet them. Even your own fathers of Western civilization, so-called. Whatever the Greeks are and are not. The West loves to put them on a fucking pedestal. And Thomas Jefferson and Americans, because we don't want to stand these monarchies and these Europeans. We're running from them. So we're gonna go to an ancient. We're gonna make Europe great again in America by going all the way back to the Greeks. We're gonna make it great again. But it's Schrodinger's Greek, right? So America's like, oh yeah, you're the great civilization, but also give us all your ports, your roads, your hospitals, de-develop. Let's turn you into like black people in America. Let's turn you into like the Uyghurs in Afghanistan. Let's turn the Greeks into the Tunisians. Let's turn the Greeks into the Libyans. Let's turn the Greeks into the Iraqis, right? Let's turn them into the Iraqis, but then also put them on a fucking pedestal. In the 20 teens. Anyways, and so then like similarly, it's like that was a good deal that they gave. The Chinese were like, we're gonna give you it is a mutually beneficial deal, right? It is a mutually beneficial deal that did help. China has helped, from Akon's own words. I fuck with China. I'm not gonna fuck with a lot of Western capital and a lot of Western military for sure. And that includes Europe, because Europe is still down there neo-colonizing Africa. Macron is still, the Senegalese are still paying fucking French tax, colonial tax to France. What the fuck is that about? Libya, that's why France went in with America to Libya, because France keeps neo-colonizing Libya as well. So French and American joint air force airstrikes to de-develop Libya and steal the rest of their fucking oil, because the problem was, whatever, again, but Gaddafi one time, like, I mean, he arrested somebody like illegitimate. Like Gaddafi, somebody stubbed their toe in Libya. In Gaddafi, like this one time, like when America was like trying to sanction and stop them from having a policy of multi-hundred billions of dollars of their own Libyan sovereign resources with a massive sovereign wealth fund to back the building of their infrastructure, their road. It's always the roads, the roads. I mean, it's the infrastructure. That's the most important thing that you need. And the education, the infrastructure, the roads, the ports, the hospitals, right? Libya was trying to do what the Chinese helped Greece do, right? Libya was trying to do what America is trying to undo in Xinjiang by sanctioning them and stopping buying their cotton. Libya was trying to do internally, right? What Cuba did, which is what? Rebuild their education system, their hospitals, their infrastructure. And now they have the world-class medical system that has created a vaccine for lung cancer. And America's like, no. Y'all gotta be stupid, backwards, poor monkeys, like we want you to be, so that we can have all your monkeys come in and scrub my fucking toilets, Cubans. Like we do to the Filipinos, like we do to the South Central Americans, like we do to black people all over the fucking place. You gotta get stupid so that I can put you in a fucking chain and then put you in a prison in America somewhere, so you can make my Amazon Whole Foods vegan and non-vegan cheese, my Baby Yoda fucking t-shirts, do my tech support, make all the license plates for Andrew Cuomo and every other fucking state in the United States, so I can stick them on all my fucking overpriced, underbuilt GM trucks and Tesla cars that we can't build because we're too busy sanctioning the Chinese like fucking idiots. That's why it's great. America keep doing stupid things with the Chinese. You're gonna lose faster and faster. The great thing, the only really one of the big silver linings is you're gaslighting or quantum America brain. You can't weasel your way out of this one. You're too fucked now. Your corporations cannot make any money without working, without the products that are coming over, right? So it's like, if you want to, you're even your plutocrats and your capitalists are losing their leverage. You used to have an economy and an infrastructure somewhat, and you had control over. There was too much of the rest of the world was developed. You had destroyed the hospitals, the education systems, the health systems. Fun fact: Hawaiians, Queen's Hospital. The Queens was where the majority of Hawaiians and people of the kingdom which was again, it was elected. So we said that because Westerners have quantum bullshit gaslight brain. It was, and the words in Hawaiian don't equate in the West. But anyways, in Hawaii, Queen's Hospital was everyone. Hawaiians could get healthcare. They still they don't tell you a lot because they don't want anyone to find this out. But Hawaiians actually can still get very cheap or free healthcare from Queens. So it was established by the sovereign Hawaiian country, right? And so that hospital, the access to healthcare, right? Hawaiians' life expectancy went from like 80 to 100 years all the way down to like 60 years, or like it was decimated by decades. That counts as they said that's enough to constitute a genocide. Was Americans crushing, defunding, and stopping Hawaiians from getting access to their free healthcare from Queen's Hospital, and like they said that alone, that was an attempt to severely debilitate and crush the health and the lives of Hawaiians. They said that alone is a genocide. Never mind the banning of the language of Hawaii. Never mind the banning of the culture. That is also genocidal. The opposite of what China does to the Uyghurs, which is what? Literally funds textbooks that are written in their native language. They literally have built 2.5 times as many mosques. What has Hawaii done? Demolished our heiau, demolished our sacred sites, built hotels on our fucking sacred sites, bomb our fucking talk about sacred sites. You fucking bombing it right now. You're bombing our fucking sacred site right the fuck now, less than 50 miles from me. I can hear it at night. You fucking hypocrites. You fucking genocidal hypocrites. You fucking bombing us, taking our actual healthcare and then stopping us from getting it. That alone, they said, has accounted for the diabetes, the disproportionate heart attacks, the lower life expectancies, and then ghettoization and dropping us in these environmentally polluted areas. That's all genocide. But just the attacks on Queen's Hospital alone and trying to stop us from getting access to because Hawaiians were actual, I call it partially automated indigenous and anarcho-socialists, right? Hawaiians were already socialists. They were already living aloha aina pono kuleana, and the Americans, when they illegally occupied and tried to do an Iraq on us, tried to do a Libya on us, tried to do what Americans do to the Uyghurs in Afghanistan, what they're trying to do to the Uyghurs in Xinjiang. The Americans are doing that shit, not China. That's y'all and your Western little puppets in Australia and Britain and Canada and the EU. You fucking hypocrites. When they did that when they tried to crush Hawaiians, that was itself already a genocide. So you want to talk about genocide? I'm going to talk on Luna Oi's stream very soon on genocide. So we're gonna have a really fun conversation talking about your Western genocides in the context of your so-called Uyghur of this alleged genocide that even the military and the U.S. State Department could not prove a genocide. They said maybe we should back off of this narrative because we actually don't have any evidence of this in their own courts, right? It's like going like, it's fucking ridiculous. It's just literally hypothesis and hearsay all over the place. Right? And then everybody going, anybody could just go, maybe Biden has 5 million Hispanics in his basement and there's a genocide. Well, we can't prove or disprove it, but we can't rule it out. And then like every single news organization on the face of Earth is going, oh, the United States has 50 million people. I mean, the United States literally has 2.5 million fucking political prisoners in fucking being crushed unjustly in their goddamn prisons. That's a genocide already. But I mean, let's make it bigger because it's hard. America has so many genocides. We have to really ratchet it up. It's like America is like Biden is trying to literally kill, like the U.S. administration is trying to kill half the planet, right? With some, I don't know, just something, right? Like they literally are trying to kill the whole planet. So I mean, that's not even big enough. Like I can't think of a lie. I can't think of something that's more egregious than what America's already doing, because they're trying to fucking destroy the whole world with a hot war with China, which will cause nuclear Armageddon. So I don't know. There's I don't know. I know Americans and Western liberals and leftists care more about puppies, so than black and brown and human beings, right? As long as they're, if they're not Western white men for Republicans, or if they're Western white men or women, and TERF specifically, for liberals and for some leftists, the Western leftists, when I say the shitty ones, but you don't care about humans, but you care about little puppies, right? Or some chicken. You care about a chicken's life. All the vegan imperialists. The vegan the capitalist imperialist vegans, racist vegans, right? They care more about a fucking chicken or puppy. Not all of them. I'm just talking about those that are like, the ones that are attacking indigenous people right now on behalf of their empire. Good job. In Canada, especially. But let's talk about some puppy. Biden has 1 million puppies tied up in his basement. No, the White House inauguration, there's a secret. He's killing 1 million puppies. He has them. He's doing a Cruella de Vil on a massive industrial scale. Oh my God, right? If you were to just say that, I'd be like, that's ridiculous. That's preposterous. Nobody's gonna run that story, right? That's just hearsay. That's ridiculous, and it's also ridiculous in the historical context. See, they would take the historical context, but there's no history of any kind of this violation. They do some historical, some. Well, I would say the liberal and the Republicans, they don't give two shits. The liberals and conservatives, the neoliberals and the right wing, they don't give two shits. And America and their viewers don't give two shits. The leftists would do some kind of historical. Oh, look at the history of this and the material analysis of the situation of canine comrades in the Western world and America, blah 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 blah. But they're not going to do that historical dialectical analysis for the Uyghurs and for the Chinese, or for the situation in Xinjiang. They're doing it for the puppies, but not for them, because it's deep-seated racism, imperialism, and colonialism. Despite understanding that, hey, maybe a billionaire has more money than me. That's bad. I mean, good job. Hey, maybe worshipping wealth is not too good. I mean, slightly better job, right? But then anyways, so, but if you were to make up a lie like that, it would not fly. So then why does it fly when you just make up something that literally, even the US, the daddies of all of these fucking Fed tubes and Fed Twitter and Fed, all the blue check marks, and the mainstream media itself, and all of their academics and the university system to a large extent is imperial hedge funds masquerading as places of learning. And all of, especially the ones that are towing the party line, which is where, you were banned from talking about any socialism or communism for most of for the last 7 years, unless you're Richard Wolff, because you have the pedigree of the top 3 Ivy League schools. So if you are, but the people that are, but even the people that are paying the salaries of all of the millions of millennial and Gen Xers whose job is to spread the propaganda around in a variety of ways, right? Even they know, the State Department, they know, oh shit, we can't prove any of this, right? They know we don't have actual evidence of any of this, right? Just like they know, oh shit, we don't have any evidence of WMDs because this is laundry detergent. Oh shit, we don't have actual evidence of genocide in the Gulf War because, well, we literally paid this lady to say things and we're working with her daddy. Oh shit, we don't have any actual genocide because we're actually working with a billionaire richest woman in China who actually is funding a lot of the Uyghur extremism so that she can go back and rule when America takes over. She will be America's puppet in Xinjiang. She's literally she was formerly the richest woman in China, the 6th richest person in China, a billionaire capitalist Uyghur, and her family and friends are the people that America is funding to through her as well to conduct a lot of this radicalization and extremism, de-development and bombing and destabilization, right? And so it's like, but even those people, they're like, oh, well, we don't really have any evidence. And actually, if anybody really looked into this, for real, and not just some fake nuance, fucking Western Imperial tube nonsense. If anybody really looked into this, they might actually figure out what we're doing. And it's a lot like it is what we're doing, what we did in Iraq, Syria, Libya, the Gulf, you name it. What we did in Vietnam, what we ultimately did in Hawaii. We're doing the same thing we did in Hawaii, actually, really, which is de-develop, destroy, and then take over, to stop a socialist country from educating people, bringing people out of poverty, mutually developing and increasing economic and wealth for all people in a as equal way as we can, which is what, you know, socialism before we get to the communist state is, or the communist state of being. I mean, stateless classes, moneyless society, whatever you want, right? So Hawaii was doing what China is doing, and that's why Hawaii was destroyed. Cuba has been attacked and attempted to be destroyed. Was it 700 assassination attempts on Castro because they're doing what Hawaii did. Right? Same thing for Bolivia. That's why they had to coup it, and then that got undone. So America has, sometimes it doesn't succeed as much, especially nowadays. It's not succeeding as much. But, you know, that's what they have to do in Xinjiang, is because they're doing what the Hawaiians did, which is what? Provide education, provide healthcare. The Uyghurs have better, this is a secret. A lot of Americans, if they knew what was happening in Xinjiang, they would happily become, but they wish they were Uyghurs, because the Uyghurs get better healthcare than you. You know, they don't have to pay fucking $70,000 for COVID stays in a hospital. You know why? Because, well, for one thing, the level of COVID in Xinjiang, the response of the Chinese government was better in Xinjiang than the rest of China. And you know how good the rest of China's response was? Light years better than America. They had like 10 cases a day. They still have it crushed. They do not need vaccines because they virtually eliminated COVID within a couple months. How you doing in America with your COVID? How's it going? 40% of Marines refuse to get a vaccination. You will never reach herd immunity. You fucking idiots. It's, you know, 40%. The military will not get vaccinated. 25% and growing are saying, I'm not going to get vaccinated. Even if you get vaccinated, it could be too slow. The cases are going back. You're getting vaccinated very quickly, but the cases are going back up. Also, you know, it's even if I hope that I'm wrong on that. I hope that COVID gets annihilated. I hope there's 10. Let me look how many cases China had of COVID today. You know, I really hope. I don't want you all to suffer and die in America. That I don't want that. That would not be Hawaiian of me. That would not be Pono. Approximately means justice, righteousness. That would not be Pono of me to wish ill on any of you. I'm just saying what I see as likely. So I want to make that clear. Based on factual, you know, analysis of what's happened. China today. Let's look at China COVID cases. China has 4,636 deaths. That's like America having 1,000 deaths. America has literally had 500 plus times more deaths. Its economy annihilated versus China was growing quickly last year, has expanded faster, has increased its overtaking of the United States by 7 years. That's how badly you fucked up. 7 years worth of economic growth relative to China. You have been destroyed, and China has been pushed up 7 years difference, right? That's not counting the cost in human life and health. Long COVID is like 10, 15, 20% of even young people. That is the impact of long COVID, long-term lung damage, brain damage, Kawasaki syndromes, brain fog. 1 out of 5 people will have a new brain, a mental health disorder because of COVID. 1 out of 5. Whether that's depression, severely accelerated depression, brain fog, inability to concentrate, terrible migraines, dementia, you know, all these other disorders. That controls for the COVID lockdown. It controls for COVID lockdown. It controls for flu and other types of illnesses. COVID is that 1 in 5 people who will have permanent debilitating mental disabilities on top of physical disabilities. That impact is going to wreck the entire West, because China has had a total of 90,000 cases, and they have had only 4,636 deaths. China had 14 cases today. This is, February 7th. I don't know where we are right now. Can we get the last 30 days? Okay, they're not even tracking right now. It's like basically almost none. Okay, it's basically eliminated. Okay, 14 cases. It would be like the United States having. It's like the United States having 3 cases for the whole country. Okay, so I hope one day America can get to 3 cases for the entire country, and a 7-day average of 20 cases. That'd be like America having 5 cases on average, right? That's like 1 case in California, 1 case in New York, 1 case in Florida, 1 case in Washington, and 1 in Kansas or something, right? I hope and that mean, what does that mean? The cases are from people leaving and then coming back with COVID. It's not right. You fly and then you come back. Oh shit, I got a COVID. Right. I flew to the U.S. I had to have a business meeting to talk about how we're gonna try to get some American corporations were begging, please, I need a semiconductor chip so I can make a vehicle so that we have any economy left from our fucking giant corpse of dead factories. Please, let me have a semiconductor. So the Chinese officials like, oh, I felt bad, and so I gave them some semiconductor chips, even though they're being super racist against us. Asian hate crimes are up by like exponential growth rates. It's 4,000. It's terrible, but but again, that's not porno. Hawaiians, we call it porno. In Chinese, they'd be like, that is not the China. I remember I was like watching one of the Xi Jinping was giving a speech about the values. We don't beggar thy neighbor. We lift up those countries that are poorer than us, like for real, not like humanitarian aid, like Western aid. We do mutual business with people, even if we don't necessarily like them. We have to work together. No country is better or worse. America is still we're the greatest country in the world, especially in Alaska. But like China, like Vietnam, and like Hawaii, it's the same. We are not better or worse than any other country. We are all equal, no matter what our GDP is, no matter what our technological progress is, no matter what however much we love our country, which we do not put ourselves above or below. That is not, again, that's not indigeneity. That is imperialism, right? That racism is the language of war, as Danny Haifong correctly said. And the racism internally turns into the nation to nation or the empire to colonized externally, right? That's how you manufacture consent for the Iraq. That's why all the towel head and the San N-word, all that racism, anti-Muslim in the 2000s, and the anti-China stuff now, it's always been anti-Asia stuff because America has always, and the West, have always been colonizing. In fact, the FDR and many other American billionaires, America's plutocracy made vast quantities of its money colonizing Asia. So that always has been there, and also a lot of money colonizing Hawaii as well, of course. So that's always been there. And so the language of the racism and imperialism and war, these are not two. America wants to talk about, well, we can be stop Asian hate, but then still be making up lies and anti China, anti this and anti that. But we can separate our all of our anti-China policies from our anti-Asian. No, you can't. You cannot. You could have legitimate criticisms, but you don't have any. You have a bunch of lies, and you have a bunch of racism drummed up based on lies. But anyway, one day you can get. I hope one day America can get to this. It probably won't be. And again, like it's not America. It's the American empire. It's American racism. It's American plutocracy. It's American capitalism. It's American ableism and American sexism and all the other vectors of oppression under your imperial European giant tumor, right? If you live in America, you're in a fucking tumor. I mean, one day I hope that it's 99% healed tissue and 1% diseased tissue and cancer, but right now it's not that, right? It's not that it could become that. I personally think that it may not have a Star-Spangled Banner above it when it gets there, because America's born in slavery and genocide and blood and death and lies. But I mean, what matters most is that it isn't doing imperialism. It isn't beggaring the neighbors. It isn't colonizing. It isn't being racist. It isn't starting wars. It isn't doing all these things. And I hope that one day and it isn't killing its own population for the benefit of its billionaires, like the CEO of the United Health Group, Cigna, Aetna. Jeff Bezos made $100 billion. Elon made $200 billion. The CEOs of JP Morgan Chase were raking in huge bonuses with the biggest gross. The biggest wealth transfer to the rich in a single day was the same day that the worst economic results were reported, with tens of millions losing jobs, tens of millions becoming or threatened with homelessness, and the economy in the doldrums, the real economy, the actual life, right? The development, right? The hospitals collapsing, the port, right? Like Greece, like Hawaii, like Xinjiang. Hospitals, ports, trade, in that case, the Belt and Road, education, falling apart, teachers dying, kids unable to get laptops because you are over ordering and over sanctioning China. That's resulting in you can't get your fucking laptops. I just read next year millions of kids could not have the laptops they need to do the online classes that they probably will still need to do, because America appears to not be able to deal with their continued crisis. Even though they have the vaccine and it's a little bit better there, they're still not able to deal with this. There's still cases going up. Again, 40% of an entire division of the military is like 40%. What does that mean? That's not herd immunity. If 40% say we are not going to get vaccinated, you are not going to reach herd immunity. And you definitely are not going to reach herd immunity if the variants swell. And there's a new variant when the P1 Brazilian variant merges with the UK variant. They said that you could easily have a super variant. If one person got both of these at the same time, that could be super resistant or extra resistant to the vaccine, extra deadly and extra contagious, right? So that's not good. I'm like, I don't want that to happen. I hope that doesn't happen, but we have to also be real, and that's what could happen, which is very unfortunate. I can tell you one thing: it definitely will happen if you believe that Biden has fixed America's problems. Oh, we have the $2 trillion plan. Richard Wolff just eviscerated that. This is a Band-Aid on cancer. This is not enough. It's better than nothing, but it's about as good as a Tylenol pill for fucking metastasized leukemia. Okay, that's not gonna it's nothing. It's better than nothing, but A, it's not gonna go where it needs to go fast enough. B, it's not even close to enough. It's a Band-Aid on it's a Band-Aid on 75 gunshot wounds. So while you're shooting your own fucking foot off by sanctioning, Biden just said, Russian, American, and Chinese officials have recently said, or news have said, they're all, wow, this Biden is actually even worse than Trump in terms of of sanctions and economic warfare against China. They say the new Biden sanctions, they say, are even worse than Trump's. This whole competent imperialism thing, I don't know if it's gonna work out as well as you thought. I don't know. Like Biden seems to like he's doing a little bit better pretending America isn't racist and not just coming out and saying really racist things, because he's not running as a Republican, right? He's running to get everybody who pretends like they care about people of color or wants to think of themselves as white knights, right? You have white knights and you have the red fascists, right? Well, the white knights in America are internally actually fascists or cowards, but so that's a little bit better. Biden's not fully anti-science, so that's better than Trump going, oh, this mask is not real. That helps, right? Actually getting some vaccines out is better than not, right? But in terms of the I thought he was going to be better at imperialism than he is, right? If you really wanted to be good at imperialism, you wouldn't be launching all these sanctions right now, right? But I think the problem is, if you wanted to do imperialism more effectively, you would have ratcheted down the. But this is the rock and the hard place. The DC and Wall Street are splitting from each other. The military wants war more than anything else, and to sell it, like the bomb makers, the missile makers, the F-35, F-16s, the tanks, all the surveillance, all of the troops, all of the aircraft carriers, and all of the Star Destroyer, same fucking thing. America, the Empire, and Star Wars are the same thing. The people who want more war and military spending, and the people and GM, Ford, Amazon, this entities make a corporation, consumer product producers, entertainment, Sony Xboxes and PlayStations can't get made if the chips aren't coming over. So those corporate interests, the kind of non-direct military plutocracy subsection of the United States is balkanizing against the military. The military is like, well, just more China, anti-China. Let's get this war going. Get the war going. And then GM and Ford are like, wait, hold on. If you keep sanctioning and hardlining China, we need their products, we need their chips, we need their investment. Actually, we need a lot of things from them. Actually, 90% of all consumer goods come from them. Fuck. Wait, stop. That was the kind of pivot. There was an article in Foreign Policy that said it's literally in the Foreign Policy magazine. This is not fucking the radical left Cuban Revolutionary Party's newspaper. This is fucking Foreign Policy, right? This is like the record of the Atlantic Council. This is like it's the State Department, right? And so it's like they were like, we cannot prove genocide in Xinjiang. We should tamper. Even the CEO of, I think was a CEO of Boeing and Ford, multiple CEOs are coming out. They're going, we need to tamper down on this political. We need to separate political and economic policies. We need to tamper down on the anti-Xinjiang. We have to tamper down on the Uyghur genocide story and political accusations, because the corporations that are not directly military related, they know they are getting fucked. And so then there's all these wibbly wobblies like, oh wait, who Quantum American brain again? Who do I work for today? Am I working for the military corporations or the car corporations and the plane corporations? Sometimes Boeing does make military aircraft as well, but it's also weird there because actually China actually sanctioned Lockheed Martin because guess what? They produce semiconductor AI based technologies, fuselage, and parts of the explosives that go into the fucking U.S. missiles. And that was one of the reactions to Taiwan. Is like, well, you want to fucking sell weapons to Taiwan? Well, guess what? All your do you like having those Chinese parts that are in your fucking missiles, in your bombs, and your aircraft? Well, maybe we won't give you any more of those, and we'll sanction Lockheed fucking Martin. And then America's like porg face, Oh shit! How are we gonna kill people if we're trying to make a war with a country that gives us the missiles to blow them up? Oh no! What do we do? That's why America is just fucked. You've all been the Chinese play Go. You loser fucking checkers and chess players. You got your kings and your knights. That's why you're too feudalist. Your kings and your knights and your rooks. You got your king. You got your wannabe King Philip, your feudal empire in Britain with their decrepit old dying wet island that lost the Suez Canal a long time ago, and America's getting its fucking tankers turned super tankers stuck with massive hundreds and hundreds of shipping containers, and all of your Baby Yoda t-shirts, your PS4s, all of your fucking laptops all stuck. All your Lockheed Martin parts all stuck in that fucking tanker. You can't get your Suez Canal moving. Just like Britain, with the Suez Canal problem, that was the sharp truncating period on their empire for sure. But the empire really had started to die a lot earlier than that. And now you've got your capitalist, disgusting child Britain, America, with its shadow feudalist. Capitalism is feudalism, but instead of Game of Thrones Targaryen dragon melted swords for the Lannisters and the Starks, with the king sitting on top with military, economic, and political power consolidated into a single family dynastic individual based on blood sitting on a throne with crown jewels. You have shadow thrones of multi-$100 billion stacked to the height of fucking stadiums, like a bunch of fat hunted bands of Franklin stacked to the height of stadiums with Bezos's, Zuckerberg's, and definitely not the CEO of this company that we're streaming on. They're really good. They're just like really revolutionary, awesome. I mean, wait, is it Schrodinger's apologist? Schrodinger's leftist. Wait, are you revolutionary? What do you want to hear right now? The current Death Stars that we're streaming, the satellites, they're very philanthropic. Let's put it that way. That's a nice one. Because billionaire is a slur according to Howard Schultz, so maybe not that. They're very philanthropic. Anyways, so but your American shadow throne of billionaires that are all wannabe British. I love it when all the Americans were. I had like a multi-thousand liked and reshared and commented tweet about Prince Philip. The most telling thing to me was all the Americans jumping in, all the white upper middle class fucking soccer mom, literal soccer mom 89. I'm not even joking. That's the name. I've screenshotted it. It's beautiful. Dreaming of being the Americans are all insecure wannabe feudal kings, because capitalism, you have to pretend like you're just a everyman, right? Oh, I am a hardworking Elon Musk. I'm a hardworking Jeff Bezos. That's how I made my billions. I'm just like you. With my jeans, I put my jeans on one leg at a time, and I wear my Metallica t-shirt just like y'all. I'm just like y'all. That's why American politicians all talk like fucking people from the outskirts of Topeka, because I'm just like y'all, right? But they want to be kings, but they can't because it's shadow hierarchy, it's shadow feudalism. It's like, oh, we have democracy and freedom and equality, but actually not really. But actually, plutocracy, 99% of all legislation is decided by whichever gets the most money and lobbyists. And so, but you can't come out and just like, yeah, I rule. That's why Elon Musk, I really applaud Elon Musk for coming out and just being like, I am the techno king, right? That's neo-feudalism, right? So, but that's what he always wanted. And Elon Musk called his finance minister the master of coin. I love that because you literally vindicate everything that I've always said. Whenever American comes out and stands the British monarchy and stands monarchy like Elon Musk, I'm the techno king, right? And my finest minister, master of coin. And all of my cops are all millions of the mountains. They're just knights smashing all the legs of all of my unionized people, breaking the legs of all of the black people that are making my base electronics that go into all of my Tesla cars. You know, in my all the black people putting out fires. Those are all the knights of Elon, right? Putting out the wildfires. Those are the serf militias whose legs are being broken by the knights and the lords. And Kamala Harris is the high knight. You know, Kamala Harris is the high knight, incarcerator in chief, to make sure that I have lots of peasants producing all of my cheap firefighter labor and cheap fucking vegan or whatever he eats, like bacon encrusted beef rolls, because he hangs out with Joe Rogan and now he has explosive Elon diarrhea. I don't know what he eats. Non-fungible token covered in Bitcoin and gold with rocket fuel, that's so he can fart his way to Mars. I don't know what he eats. But whatever he eats, it's made by his slaves and his serfs that he locks up, thanks to the jailer in chief Kamala, right? She's like you know. But I like the way that Elon is making the world of Neofeud. You know, to take it back to Neofeud. I like the way that Elon is really bringing this world. You know, this is what this is about. You know. I want to be king, like literally, not pretend like I'm like you and I work hard. No, I want to like rule because I am just better. I just want to order people around and celebrate me being better, eugenically, intellectually, religiously. I want to be God, you know. I want to be king, you know. I'm techno king. And my finance minister, master of coin. I love it when they do that. I don't love the system, obviously, but I like it when they do that because they reveal the true nature of the American, which is always the wannabe. The American capitalist is just the wannabe British feudalist, right? And the British make fun of the Americans. Oh, you are the nouveau riche was the nouveau riche. That's an insult. Oh, you're just the new money. Oh, you're just the American. That's not the true elite. The true elite is those born great, those dynastic. House of Windsor. The true greatness is gifted from God. It is imbued into their very existence, not made through money. That's the difference between American and the British. Americans destroy history because they want to get away from that. That's why they go back to the Greeks. They're like, we got to get away. We have nothing to do with Europe. Nothing to do with the kings of France and the Bourbon kings of France and these fucking tyrannical asshat from Britain. We harken back to the great Greek civilization with the democracy, and we made it of our own accord. We did it my way, and they, you know, we went from rags to riches. We're temporary embarrassed millionaires, and now we're millionaires and billionaires, but we're not kings. Again, Schrodinger's American. Schrodinger's brain. I just have a lot of power, but it's not undemocratic power. I mean, who am I talking to? My hedge fund convention, or am I talking to my workers in the plant? I'm just like you. Any of you could be me, but when I go to the hedge fund convention, like, oh yeah, I got all these idiots working in my plant. Yeah, we're all kings in this fucking Vegas casino, having sex with $100,000 imported models and exploited, you know, Asian sex workers, and then killing them also. You know, it's like we're all kings. Of course, we're all kings. Yeah, I'll see you at Davos. We'll hang out with Tony Blair and start some more wars in the Middle East. We're all kings. You know, we're all kings, of course. But oh my God, I'm just like you, workers at Amazon. We are all paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problems that you solve. It's not like I ever, you know, got anything for free because I'm some kind of royalty and I have emerald mines that I sat on in apartheid in South Africa. And mommy and daddy got all the underpaid, disproportionately black workers murdered for asking for a raise. That never happened. I'm just like you. I just think good. I think good big brain thoughts. Like COVID-19 will be destroyed in America circa 2020 of April. Let's look. How's that doing? How's the U.S. COVID doing? How's the U.S. COVID doing? Yeah, U.S. COVID shart. Exactly. U.S. sharted itself. It's like, oh, COVID. Holy shit. Let's fart and shoot diarrhea all over the place. Oh, look at that. You're at 81,000 cases. You're at 81,000 cases. You know, you haven't even gotten back to the freaking September level. You're still stuck at a fucking October level with your vaccines. With your vaccines, and you're reopening the country. So Elon Musk literally said right here. You see this? April? Elon Musk said the US will have near zero cases by April. Okay? You are the opposite of what is correct, sir. You deserve negative $200 billion. Sir Elon. I mean, hardworking everyman Elon. You have fucking April 1st was the beginning of the explosion. You complete useless. I mean, by that logic, you should have all your money taken from you, because you saying that people were probably investing in America's infrastructure and jobs and health coming back in this time. You destroyed so much wealth just by saying that stupid sentence. Oh, America will. How many millions of followers do you have? Right? Elon has fucking millions of fucking followers. All of his millions of followers are, oh great. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna prepare to go back to work, and I'm gonna invest in saving up for my mileage, my frequent flyer miles, and I'm gonna get ready to fly on planes. I'm gonna get ready to go to vacation to Disneyland. I'm gonna save up. I'm gonna throw all my masks away. I'm gonna throw all of my Perel away, because we're not gonna need it by April 1st. That's what all of his fucking stands were doing, right? You fucking destroyed so much wealth when you said that stupid sentence, and in April you have an explosion. And then, and the first of many, look at that, it's July, now it's 69,000. Remember that? Remember when it was 69? And oh my God, Democracy Now!, CNN, MSNBC, The Washington Post, every fucking paper. 60,000? This is unconscionable. This is outrageous. This is impossible. It couldn't possibly get any worse than this. And then it's 180,000. Oh my God. And then by this time, everybody's dead and numb, right? Remember this? And now it's 200,000 in December 21st. Oh, it's just every day, thousands of people are 4,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people dying. Oh, well, we're just too fucking numb and fucking dead. And we can't even think straight because we all have brain fog. And also social isolation, and all of our jobs are gone, and the billionaires just made another fucking $1.3 trillion this year. Oh, well. Oh, we're all dead. Oh, what is it? Fucking 260,000. Oh, well, we're all dead. Oh, well. Oh, well. Hey, is America starting any wars? I'm tired of reading about how many of us died losing the war against billionaires and for-profit COVID annihilation. I'm tired of this. I'm fucking tired of this. Oh, look, it's going down. Let's all fucking take our masks off. Let's all take our masks off and fucking kill ourselves. Elon, you're so fucking wrong. You would have been right if you even, know thyself. You love The Matrix. I know he does. You know how I know this? Because he has all these deep lore Deus Ex references. He had jokes like, you stick with the prod. I've been playing Deus Ex. Elon Musk's favorite game is Deus Ex. I know this. He said this in interviews. So, Elon, if you really like Deus Ex, you should, you love Matrix and Deus Ex and Cyberpunk. When Neo walks into the Oracle's room, right? It says, know thyself. In Latin, right? If you knew yourself, which is what? You are a billionaire, you're a billionaire philanthropist, arms dealer, playboy, spoiled brat, shitposter to $1 trillion who didn't provide any value in his life. In fact, provided negative $180 billion worth of value to the world. If you knew who you were, if you listened to the Oracle from the Matrix and knew who you were and knew who your country was, you would have been able to figure out that COVID was. What did I say was going to happen? Anybody remember what I said was going to happen with COVID? In March, once I kind of figured out, oh shit, this is serious. I said COVID was never going to leave the U.S. I said they're going to keep saying it's going to go down the next week and then it's going to spike. They're going to keep saying this is the end and now it's going to fall and then it's going to spike. And this is the end. 20,000 is definitely the peak. And then we got to a local peak, not the end, just within this 6-month range, the peak. But I said, everybody's going to celebrate, and then it's going to go down, not enough, and it's going to plateau, but not enough, and then it's going to spike again. And then everybody's going to celebrate like it's going to go away, and then it's going to spike again and again and again. And America will never be rid of COVID-19. So, again, I hope America gets to 1 case per 100 million like China. I really hope so. Or like 0.5 cases per 100 million like Vietnam. I hope, and Cuba, very good on COVID. I really hope America can get there. I don't want you to get sick and die. Okay? But you got to know yourself. Right? Because if you don't know who you are, who your country is, who your political and economic system is, if you can't face reality, you will not be able to navigate the future. That's the secret. The secret to predicting the future. Silver Spook, why are all your Terminus Machina and Neofeud games all come true? right? And Elon Musk is fucking declaring himself the techno king. You know, where the pageantry of capital, pretend humility comes off, and then the billionaire just call himself kings, right? I just wanted to find the article because I wanted to, have it up on the. I'm not making this shit up. Elon Musk calls himself techno king of Tesla. CFO Zach Kirkhorn is now master of coin. The electric automaker announced the head-scratching sobriquet in a filing with the U.S. Securities. He filed it with the Securities and Exchange Commission on Monday, along with his chief financial officer, Zach Kirkhorn's new position, Master of Coin. Elon and Zach will also maintain their respective positions. Remember when I said King Warren Clinton Bush is king/CEO? Elon Musk has literally made Neofeud come true, like verbatim. Let me see if I can find that specific tweet. He's literally declared himself CEO and king. And what did I say? It's king/CEO, right there. CEO Kings, right? King/CEO Warren Clinton Bush. That was the official title of one of the main antagonists in the game. It's literally king/CEO, and Elon Musk has done he's done precisely that. He is legally. Not just oh, I'm a king, like yes king, yes queen, and clap back and steal some more black culture for fake woke Twitter. Yay! No, like literally, legally has changed his title to king and CEO. So I was not even joking with Neofeud. This is for real. Where is that fucking tweet? I'm trying to find it. I want to feel really right on the internet. You see, I understand when you want to feel right on the internet. It's fine. But don't weaponize that against fucking marginalized people and start World War III. Anyways, where the fuck is this one? King Techno. Fuck, where is it? I know it's in here somewhere. Okay, I'm the only one who tweets this. I usually the one who tweets it, so I think I can find it if I do this. Okay, I don't fucking know where it is, but I know there's a picture of that. Okay, is that it? Oh yeah, here it is. We now have King/CEO Elon Musk making Neofeud's Game of Thrones cyberpunk dystopia fusion even more literal. It's always vindicating and horrifying being continuously proven right. So Elon Musk, this is where he crowned himself Techno King of CFO, but retains his official classification under the Securities and Exchange Commission as CEO. So he is both CEO and King, right? And this is a direct line from Neofeud. I was thinking naively that I would receive what? Some modicum of praise? Perhaps a seat at the King/CEO Warren Clinton Bush's inaugural dinner? Perhaps a keynote speech at the G7 or Davos World Economic Forum? A raise? Anyway, that's a line from Neofeud in this scene with this character. And he's referred to several times as the King and CEO, right? So making my point, which is that Americans, and it's the American mind, right? The American mind, the American psyche is constantly it wants to be self-made, but it also wants to be God-made. It wants to be fundamentally eugenically, genetically superior while also being self-made, right? So that when you call yourself king and CEO, you want the American is constantly jealous and looks with envy at the British, right? Who are God and dynastically made, blood made, right? Just in being better, ontologically better, right? Oh, okay, yeah, we gotta go. Anyways, whereas the, but it simultaneously wants to be better in terms of its genetics, but then also better because it earned it, right? It wants to be earned and gifted, right? It wants to be crowned, and it wants to do it my way and be crowned. The American mind. It wants to have proclaimed that it did the work, but then also it did the work, but then also was knighted by daddy. You know, it wants that. It wants everything, right? But in its world, it can't. It's unlike the feudal monarchs, right? They can't. You know, they can't literally be that in America because, well, we abolished it. But we also, that's another quantum American brain. We abolish the monarchy, but also we want it, right? That's Disney. Why is Disney an American capitalist entertainment producer, right? I mean, the actual animators and people who did the work animating, drawing, voicing, and doing all the work to make the movies are the actual people who created all the Disney movies from Snow White, etc. But Disney creates movies about princesses, about kings and princesses and queens. Why? It's really a deep aspect of the Western and American specific psyche of we abolish them, but we want to be them, right? We hope we can build thrones so big, so massive. Like if we stack a pile of $100 bills to the size of the moon, they'll be so big and so great that we can resume our place as de facto kings, and we don't need to pretend with this democracy. We can go back, you know. We can go back to permanent dynasties, you know. And the other one was with the Prince Philip, and I'm gonna get off right after this. What was it? It was really gross. There's a reason. Where the hell is it? Yeah, goodbye racist colonizer. I got 1.3 thousand on this. Prince Philip. These are things that he said. If you stay here much longer, you will all be slitty-eyed. The prince told British exchange students disgustingly and racistly who were in Xinjiang in 1986. When asked on his opinion of Beijing, he said ghastly. Of course he did. Because, he's racist, and also the Chinese were doing things that are helping the world. Do you still throw spears at each, as opposed to colonizing them? Do you still throw spears at each other? He asked an Indigenous Australians in 2002. Super racist and disgusting things. 2002. This guy is just a racist to the core. Doesn't march around with his Nazi flag. Neither does Britain. But they keep doing actual genocides. Like their ongoing genocide, their ongoing colonization of all the parts that they work with the United States to crush in Iraq, in the Middle East, in Africa, etc. There's a picture with his family. Also, I was careful to say, your goodbye racist colonizer Prince Philip, fuck your feudal classist eugenicist family and your empire. And I know that's not him, that's his family. But everybody was really, 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 really specifically careful. They kept on really insisting, you're wrong, that's not him, that's his family. There are pictures of him marching with the Nazis. Like Hollywood, and looked at, like, this is not like he later fought them, but that's like all the people that supported Trump who later banned him from their social media networks, going, oh well, we always hated him. No, you made billions of dollars. MSNBC, Fox, they even admitted, oh, we love having Trump because he makes us so much money. He's so great. Jack Dorsey backed all of the Nazis, all the racist Nazi shit until it was inconvenient, till the last minute. What banning Trump at the very last second just says, oh, we could have done this at any time, but it was really convenient. It's kind of like we could have got rid of Hitler any time, but no, the British were working with him, with the British government backing the fascists in Italy. It was really convenient to try to rid us of the communists, right? The Chinese actually did 20 million people worth of fighting. The Russians did the vast majority. America, 400,000 compared to Russians, multi-tens of millions. It was nothing. The Americans literally said, oh, make sure we land an American a plane and American soldiers set boots on the ground in Germany so we can say that we won the war, when we backed it. And we made our capitalists made billions backing the Nazis. We love the Nazis. We are Nazis. LGBTQ plus Black Lives Matter is on our missiles now. So we're no, but they're also America, and the whole entire West is a Nazi. They're all fucking national socialists. Some of them not even national socialists. They're just like national plutarchists. They're national plutocrats. They're national feudalists, right? But then their common average people are national socialists. It's called MAGA. And then sometimes when they get in real dire straits, then they massacre an entire population. And you all deserve to, this is, I mean, is that hard to hear? I mean, yeah. A lot of people got really upset. Nice to see Westerners coming out to stand their dying empires that colonized and genocided the world, and U.S. backed fascism and made billions in arming them. The U.S. versus Germany, U.S. and U.K. versus Germany is fascist versus fascist. It's a family fucking feud. Literally, the Queen and Prince Philip and his family, these are all descendants of Victoria. It's literally family feud. Feudalism. It's fascists in Britain versus fascists in Germany. Winston Churchill, after 27 million Indians died, he called them, participating in one of multiple genocides. He just said, well, they're all filthy, disgusting brown beasts. They deserve to die. If they didn't want to die, they should have worked hard. He literally said, the Indian multi-millions of deaths from famine, that's brown on brown crime. You're all devolved little monkeys. That's basically that's what. Oh, he was so good, Churchill. He fought against he worked with the fascists until the German fascists said, well, we want it all. It wasn't, and America was working. Hitler had a fucking picture of a great American Henry Ford on his fucking wall. It was just when it became, it's like the French fighting the British. Oh, well, we defeated the evil British. You're the French, you colonized the other half of the world. It's a fash on fash party. Fascism is when white people do what they do to black and brown people to other white people. But the white world is always fascist. And then they write a lot of very complex, they use a lot of big genius brain words in their books to make it seem like it was just that one time with Donald Trump. It was just that one time with Mussolini. It was just that one time with Hitler. No, it's all the time with all y'alls. Nice to see the Westerners coming out to stand their dying empires that colonize and genocide the world, and with the US-backed fascism made billions in arming them. Like Ford, it was until it was inconvenient, and then they rewrote history like communists didn't do the vast majority of fighting, the Russians and the Chinese. UK with 127,000 deaths per 520, putting profit before people, unlike Vietnam and China, with the racist Brexit torpedoing your economy, 130,000 dead from austerity, sacrificing your essential workers to keep the crown bejeweled in palaces and penthouses. It's just sad. UK's biz, concrete, steel, and glass bank vaults, also known as Ponzi scheme London real estate, filled with hyper-financialized crime dens, banks like HSBC. Laundering money for actual terrorists and drug lords that washed Tomahawk missile blood money, and the lie factories that populate your London towers, like the BBC, that pump out its daddy's US war propaganda day and night, like the Xinjiang Uyghur genocide. BBC is the number one on that, while neo-feudal peasants starve below in actual Britain, rationing out their fucking carrots that they can't get across the border because of your plutocracy and also your Brexit fiasco. But the British fought racists. People were like, the British fought racists. Here's the Chinese literally forced to carry the British on their backs under murderous racist British colonialism. The Chinese that UK and US foment anti-scientific hatred against. Similar in India, Africa, millions died, were enslaved and exploited. This is the British weren't racist. No, you killed more people than the Nazis. I'm so sorry. Does that hurt your feelings? I'm very sorry. I'm so sorry that it does. I'm not really, but I mean, again, you gotta know yourself, you gotta know who you came from, it would be really, if the Hawaiians did everything that you did to the world, like if Hawaiians went around the world and killed millions of people, enslaved millions upon millions upon millions, that would be hard for me. I would be like, that's terrible. And that would be really hard to be like, I can't believe that Hawaiians did this. That's fucking terrible. We have to never do this again. But it is nice. It is lucky for me in the way that I don't have to go back and tear down every statue and go, oh my God, all the Hawaiian movements and all of our actions were so terrible, and tear down all of my racist colonizers, Winston Churchills, and all of my Thomas Jeffersons, and all of my dead war criminals and alive war criminals like Biden and Trump and Bush, and Philip, that I'm so sorry that you worshipped somebody who was a terrible racist, literal feudal ruler on an empire that crushed and debilitated and exploited and enslaved millions across the planet, But you gotta know that sooner or later, or we're not gonna be able to do anything. This is who you are. I mean, that's not who you specifically are, but that's the power structure and that is your dynastic heritage, in that sense, that's what you not inherit, but I mean, that's the history in a dialectical, historical way. That's the history, I don't say that just to pit. People are like, you're just saying this to be rude. You're just saying this to be mean. I'm not saying this to be mean and rude. I'm just saying this because this is this is the medicine that's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt when you have to fucking face it. But okay. Anyway, I gotta get off. So What does it say? Okay, I'm gonna read this chat real fast. Faye Alicia asks, will the Steam version of Neofeud 2 have Linux support, or will it be itch.io only like with Neofeud? I am not sure yet, but I will see if I can get it on Steam. I have not figured that out yet. The second one, you don't have to read on screen. Second one is just a reminder. Okay. 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 Yeah. I'll update that on Steam. Yeah. It's just, yeah. I know. Like running it on Linux can be. Yeah. And I know like the modern different versions of Mac and Linux. Can be different, but I know that like Linux has a lot of options to run things that would run on Windows on Linux. So that can be. And also Wine is a thing. That's part of why I can't. I backed off of the Steam because the support that I would need to give on Steam is like a thing that I might not be able to I don't have a Linux computer on me, just because that's like all my tools that I work on and that I can work with. I know how to use them, and they're not on that system, so I don't have access, and I don't have the time and the spoons to learn how all of that works myself right now. And so and really yeah, so it's a thing that I don't have the resources to do all the I would actually, somebody asked about GOG. Like I have not been able to get Neofeud onto GOG partially because I don't have the resources, time and energy and spoons to put into that as well. Also there's other problems, but it was like, we need you to fix this and that, and I'm like, I can't fix all of that. I'm sorry. So it's part of that is the technical limitations of, again, like when I say I'm like a one-person developer, on Neofeud, I'm basically the only developer. I'm the programmer, the artist, the writer, the musician, and half of the voice acting. I mean, I did like everything basically, with the exception of half the voice acting and like QA. So like yeah, that's part of why. So if someday like I feel confident that I can get like a team, but I don't feel confident that this can be a team thing, really. Not Neofeud. Terminus Cyberstar is different. Terminus Cyberstar, I offload the responsibility for compatibility, for debugging, for getting it launched on Linux and Mac and Windows, PS4, Xbox, right? For the other game I'm working on, I feel confident. Like I can't manage a team. That's part of it. I haven't been good at managing teams. Certainly not ones that are not geolocated with me. That's another difference too. And so I'm not confident in that ability. So somebody's like, oh, I can help you do this. No, I don't want anybody who is not part of the Silver Spook Hui and cooperative really on Neofeud, really, because I don't want it to be, oh well, you can volunteer this and you can I want people to be paid exactly what they're worth. It's part of the collective of the cooperative, which means that it has to be a level of buy-in that's much higher than because I don't want people I don't like it. It's not good for game developers when they offer free labor for the entire community. Oh, I'll do this. I'll do voice acting. I'll do art for free. I'll do program. That you think that you're doing a good thing when you do that, particularly for things that are going to be commercial. I mean, it's just like, oh, we're doing a student project for this class and let's just work on this. That's one thing. Be careful with that as well, because universities will take all your intellectual property and profit from it. No matter what you want to do, this is the thing that you will learn late in the 2,000 pages of fine print. And you'll find out everything you did in university. We invented this cure for COVID-19 or cancer. Oh, I'm sorry, it's owned by X and Y and Z, and now you're fucked. You just got Jonas Salked. Like insulin should be given away. Oh, I'm sorry, we're making $460 a month for every American's insulin now. Oops. Anyways, and it's but anyway, that's kind of off topic. If it's going into a commercial product, like you think you're going to give away writing or art or music or programming, right? And that's a great thing. If there's a normalized culture, which is it, the reality is that we're still living in a capitalist. I don't know if you noticed this. You ever tried just living in places for free? Like with nobody paying rent. You ever tried like getting food for free with nobody paying for it? Like even just taking it from a dumpster. You know what they do in America? They break your legs and they surround the dumpster with cops. You ever tried getting healthcare? So while it's great to give it away for free, when you do that, you are kind of, in a certain sense, you're breaking, you're kind of union, you're breaking the picket line of a kind of constant game developer union in commercial games, right? Because if millions of people offer their art and their programming for free to EA, to Activision, right, to CD Projekt Red, oh well, I can just get some kid or some open source enthusiast to do all of my art and programming for free. Look, I got all these free programs. I can trick them into doing it. They'll give it away for free. Why should I pay you a living wage? It's kind of like, and so like in that sense, like I know it's not weird. It shouldn't be a weird argument. It's just like, we don't want to undervalue the labor of doing art, programming music, and writing, because it hurts every other artist and writer and musician if that gets normalized. The threat is always, because it's really what are the options and the vectors? What is the leverage of the boss and the employee, right? And if the boss goes, I got lots of free labor over there. I could give them $2. I could give them kudos. I just put their name on a project. I can just say I'm gonna put their name on a project, and I got a million programmers, artists, and writers with lots of talent. Why am I gonna pay you, artist, at CD Projekt? Why am I gonna pay you, programmer, at Activision, EA, whatever game company? Why am I gonna pay you? You know, that's part of how they can get away with such terrible, Jim Sterling and all the abuse. That's how the capitalist executives that own game companies can get away with all the terrible abuse and exploitation of their workers. So they're working for $3 an hour when you count all the unpaid overtime at crunch. They can get away with it because there's a normalization of passionate free labor in games, right? So that's where it's like we have to really differentiate and be careful there. Unless it's like a volunteer or something that is like just totally for fun, and also be careful because things that work for fun become things that are not, right? GitHub is now, who owns that? It's not open source anymore. Who owns a lot of the open source? I'm not saying it's bad to do open source, but it's like we have to be very careful about that, because these things can and will be weaponized and come back, against us. And the gifting away of that's part of why I this is like a long argument that I wasn't planning to get into, but because I don't want people like myself and other artists and programmers, a lot of them are indigenous people who are programming for a lot less than what they're worth. I knew an indigenous Kerbal Space program, an indigenous programmer who was actually trans, was told was working for $2 to $3 an hour. Indigenous trans person working for $2 to $3 an hour because that was what everyone else was doing, and everyone else was kind of willing to put into. I mean, they're paying $10, $12, right, in the office, but then they're doing like they calculate it with all of the out of office and weekend after hours, unpaid crunch, unpaid weekends, unpaid nights. I was working from my house working on the code. I was being paid like $3, $2, $3 an hour, right? And how did they get to that? They got that because that indigenous trans person was like, and also the company said, oh, by the way, if you ever say that you're trans, you're gonna be fired. Stay in the closet. You can't say that because we have a lot of anti-trans bigots basically said a lot of people in our game company would not be comfortable with you being trans in the game company, so stay in the closet and never come out. Also, if you ever go, you cannot go public with your transness, because a lot of our consumer base is chud anti-trans. So you can never say that basically, if you ever say you're trans, we're gonna fire you. Just because it would damage our reputation for people to find out that we had trans people working for us. So you might be it, but don't show it, and never say it in the workplace or in public. And anyway, this person, it was sad. The saddest thing was this trans indigenous programmer was like, oh, but it was such a great opportunity to work on this amazing game for fucking $2 an hour. And my wife and my child, we struggled financially. We were food insecure. We were housing insecure, like, because there's somebody with a child, actually. And it was really hard. But I mean, it was so great to be a passionate game dev working on this amazing game that sold so many copies. I felt so privileged to work on this amazing game that fucking like said I was not a human being. Threatened to fire me for being trans. Paid me $3, fucking terrible starvation wages. Literally, it also said, oh yeah, it almost caused a divorce. Oh yeah, I couldn't see my family for such a long period of time. I really got estranged from my child and my wife because I was spending so much time working on this game. But it was such a privilege. So that's why I don't like this. We have to normalize, not necessarily being a dick. It's just normalize people getting paid what they're worth. Whether you're whatever kind of project it is, go against this idea of, oh, I'm just passionate about X or Y or Z, and so I'm going to do that. I mean, you can be passionate about whatever you want to be passionate about, but when it comes to products that can and will, even if they potentially can and will, be used as tools of profit making for capitalists, we have to take all of that into account, you know? So that's why I bring it up. Everybody who works on the Silver Spook games, whether that's Neofeud or Neofeud 2, is going to get exactly what they put into it. And I don't care if they don't want. Oh, I will do. People have offered to do free labor for Neofeud and Terminus and Neofeud 2. And I'm like, you're not going to do any free anything. If you work on Neofeud, you're going to get exactly equal pay. Or you're not going to, somebody actually insisted, no, I really want to give you this image, this graphic. I really want to give you this voice for free. I really want to give, I just want you to put this in the game. Please, look how good it is. I don't want no money. I just put, no, and I said, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to take that, because if I start taking that, somebody can come back and go, oh, somebody did free labor. Somebody did voluntary free labor. Silver Spook exploited this person. Can always come back. And I don't want that, A. B, that's just like, that's not good. I tell them, like, stop normalizing that, because if you go around doing that, especially for commercial, this is like, they know it's a commercial games. If you go around doing that, the bigger corporations and even the smaller capitalist indie game corporations are going to come around. They're going to exploit that, and that normalizes suffering and underpayment and labor value extraction, and weakens the unions of everyone. Ultimately, it weakens the Amazon unions. It weakens every union when people are not valuing themselves, their bodies, their lives, and their labors what it needs to be valued at. Doesn't matter if it's games or anything else, you know. Now it's different if you're working with your friends and your comrades, you know, like in outside of a capital, like in Hawaii, like when Kama and when we working together in a family, that's a different thing. But when you're working, when you're producing a thing that is going and can be exploited, we have to be everybody, but especially programmers, especially tech workers, especially game workers, have to be more, like demanding value for yourself is stopping extractive, capitalist, and ultimately transphobic and racist extraction by the capitalist class. You know, that's another way to look at it, right? Demanding your labor value at all times is maintaining a kind of invisible planet-wide strike line, and by extension, you're a scab if you start giving it away for free, right? It's maintaining the union solidarity. It's maintaining solidarity by saying, no, I refuse to give anything away under a capitalist context if it can be exploited, unless we're getting a fair amount. You know, again, mutual beneficial cooperation, right? Another way to look, in a colonial perspective, it's like self-colonizing, right? You know, like, I mean, we're gonna give you something, but we're gonna get something mutually in return, right? But when it's like, oh, you're passionate, you love games so much, just make them for free. Just make them for free. It's like, oh, here, have all of my lithium. It's like Bolivia going, oh yeah, no, Germany, here, have all my lithium. Here, Elon, have all my lithium. It's like Africa going, oh, no, Europe, no. We're just so nice. Here, have all of my coltan and copper for pennies on the dollar while we starve. You know, now that's a nice luxury if you're a wealthy person where your mommy and daddy have a lot of money and you have a nice house that mommy and daddy have for free, and then you have a nice, access to your healthcare, to your disposable income to buy your Steam games, to your healthcare, everything that you need, right? Or most of the things that you need, so that you're not worried about that, right? But if you're somebody who has to, like, an essential worker, which a lot of game workers, a lot of them, they're not necessarily essential in the way that nurses, but they rely on their income from what they're doing. It's work. It is work, right? Those people don't have the luxury of just going, oh, no. Here, have all of my programming and art for free. Oh, no, yeah, EA, really? Just take it all for free. Pay me nothing. That's totally fine. I just want to have the opportunity to work in your illustrious company. Oh, Kerbal Space Program. Oh, I just love you so much. Oh, just have it for free. A lot of those people, they don't have that opportunity, They're just exploited workers. So anyway, that's a long speech. We got to get out of here. So don't forget, Neofeud is on sale. Neofeud is a game that is created by myself. Again, I did the majority of the work on this game. It is a game that is about my experiences as a native Hawaiian, indigenous person who worked as a social worker which is the majority of what China does. It's actual social work, which is poverty alleviation. It's assimilation in the sense of it's economic integration and improving people's lives and preventing them from getting into negative, self-destructive, and community-destructive behaviors. If that's re-education, then Neofeud is about how I help to quote-unquote re-education poor Filipino sex-trafficked individuals, Honduran asylum seekers, homeless Native Hawaiians, and children disproportionately homeless Native Hawaiians, which we are. And Neofeud is a story about that. It's about doing social work. It's a story about doing and trying to do that under a terrible classist, racist, imperialist system. And it is a game that is anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist, and anti-racist in a funny and cyberpunk Matrix flavored rap, like Taika Waititi or Douglas Adams does cyberpunk riffs on the genre in the way that Taika does vampire culture in What We Do in the Shadows. Very similar to that kind of that style of humor. See, that's British humor. Prince fucking Philip is just racism. Neofeud actually has a lot of British style humor. I hang out with a lot of British point and click adventure game makers while I was making this, so that kind of rubbed off. Anyways, if you have a second to leave even a very short review, it is greatly appreciated because each review does increase the likelihood that Neofeud will be discovered in the algorithm, which doesn't do us any favors. Neofeud is a lot like Disco Elysium, yes. It's like Disco Elysium, but with more cyberpunk, and some people have said Disco Elysium with better social commentary, more cyberpunk, and also a little bit less frustrating at times. Also, Neofeud had full voice acting before a year after the release, so Disco Elysium is also a game where they thank Marx and Engels. So I will say this: Neofeud has Marx quotes in it. There's somebody literally reading Das Kapital in Neofeud. Okay, so let me just show you that picture. There's always going to be a Marx reference in the Silver Spook games, at least one. You know, of course, the indigenous people like myself, we were the OGs. We were the OG socialist, communists, and anarchists. But where the fuck is the picture? Open image in new tab. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so Marx's Das Kapital is literally being read by one of the transgenic academic homeless individuals, inspired by actual homeless academics that actually stayed with us at Silver Spook Games and elsewhere, saddled with too much student debt. But anyways, so that is a Neofeud. And also, Neofeud is like, what did somebody say? I know I keep bringing this one up, but I'm going to keep bringing it up because Neofeud is exploring the depths that make up our capitalist reality. I found the game to be a multidimensional representation of Marx's Das Kapital. It is received as a labor of love, one that speaks to the cultural references of our generation. Anyways, so for all the Marx fans, also, you can find Neofeud on itch.io for Mac and Linux as well. I'm gonna update it with the suggestion later on, not right now, but from Faye Alicia. But it is available on Windows, Mac, and Linux there. You can also get it for DRM free. You can get it without having to install Steam if you don't want to do this, if you don't like that for whatever reason. You can also find Neofeud at Patreon. Support us at patreon.com/Neofeud for ongoing support. You can also support you can also follow us at Silver Spook Games at Octodon.social on Mastodon. Mastodon is a decentralized, non-capitalist controlled federated social media program, social media site that allows what Twitter does, but less reach right now. I hope it grows. Less people are on it, but without taking millions of dollars from our good friends at the Wall Street, DC, and Silicon Valley complex to manipulate timelines. And I don't know, a lot of anarchists, leftists, socialists, communists, Black Lives Matter, and anti-racist activists are apparently being removed from all social media sites right now. So if you are one of them, I highly recommend you get a Mastodon, because that's one place that is being a lot harder to do anything there because it's decentralized. It is not controlled by a federation, by a capitalist corporation run by a billionaire that takes money from the U.S. empire. So they're gonna have a lot harder time. It's not impossible, but they can't just like Thanos snap you off of one of these Mastodon. So anyways, you can also follow us though, because right now Twitter has a lot more people on it, while we still have access to the Death Star satellites, follow us at Silver Spook Guy. That's my kind of personal account. You can also follow at Silver Spook Games, minus the E in silver, because Silver Spook Games is racist against E's. Oh wait, no, there's one E at the end though. No, that's anti-vowel bigotry. No, it's just that my name was too long. At Silver Spook Games, minus the E in silver, and you can also follow. That's for game-related stuff. You can also follow at Terminus C, Terminus Cyberstar, which is a low-poly cyberpunk immersive sim. This is the other game I'm saying. Like I said, with this game, I'm not in control of platform adoption. I'm not in charge of launching it to a variety of systems that I'm not familiar with and I don't know enough about. And I'm not in control of Adventure Game Studio is much more limited in that sense. This is made in Unity, but also Aaron is just much more experienced in management, production, and programming than I am. So I'm the content director and writer on this game. So I wrote the background, the world, the story, the main characters, and the design of the game, how it was supposed to go. But the implementation, the art, the levels, the coding, the AI, the level designs, the music, the modeling, all that stuff, the UI, everything else is a team of other folks. These are some screenshots from it. It is a game that's in the vein of like I'm playing Deus Ex Invisible War a lot on my Twitch streams nowadays. I'm probably gonna finish it today. It's very similar to the Deus Ex games. Not because Elon Musk likes them, that's just coincidental. But he doesn't like them enough to understand them apparently. But when we have it was supposed to come out in March, but it should be coming out sometime soon. I don't want to say any release dates until I get some word from Aaron, who's the producer on the game. But yeah, it is a game that is about the main character is a homeless illegal migrant who has escaped from a literal concentration camp, trying to survive in a cyberpunk dystopia while robotic police and omnipresent CCTV are trying to catch and lock you back up. So very similar to Terminus Machina, if you've ever played that Deus Ex Total Conversion. It's you are a vastly underpowered survivor at the bottom of a totem pole of marginalization and oppression, trying to survive. It's different from Terminus Machina in that it does not take place on Earth, but everything else about it is very similar. So anyways, it's also set in the world of Terminus and Neofeud, which technically are in the same world now. So if you want to follow that, do follow at Terminus C. Also, you can join a Discord there. Finally, you can join the Silver Spook Discord if you become a Patreon patron. You also get access to some of the latest updates when I'm working on Neofeud 2, behind the scenes stuff. Finally, I can thank all of these people right here. Dave, James Wheaton, Minkzilla, Mr. Brewer, Belinda Ann Taylor, Capybara, Industrial Robot, Johnny C, Alana Montero, Sean Collin, Danny Carroll, Eric Wright, Jared, Morgan Swancroft, The Reaver, Talatad Hill, Rifle 55, Matthew Stone, Alexander Red Gabriel House, Alfonso De Lazar, Combo Breaker, Lark, Miro, Skylar Smith, Tim, Kabuto Zix, Raf Tanner, Earl Control, Doc, oh shit, Michael McAllister. Sorry, I'm like, I have it almost memorized, but then somebody changes or, anyways. Extremely Online Laugh, Ted, Charlington, Beastcoat, and Danae Paname. Thanks for your continued support. It is greatly appreciated. Yes, so I will be back in the evening time, probably around 9 Pacific on Twitch. And yes, I'm gonna look at the chat one last time, and then I'm buying Neofeud for my nephew too. He's gonna love it. We'll write up one after putting the kids to bed. Hey, thanks a lot, Mass Casualty. Mass Casualty. You're not somebody else that was on Twitch as well. I'm sorry. I thought I recognized that name somewhere else. But anyways, if you're not, that's okay. I just had this thought. Thanks for playing Neofeud though. It's greatly appreciated. Again, I know I talk a lot of shit sometimes, but what I'm saying, I don't say a lot of these things because I want everybody to live happy, healthy, productive lives. Unlike the Bill Gates Foundation that doesn't give a fuck, but likes to pretend to. We do want everybody to do well. I hope everyone in America and in Canada, of whatever you're from, I hope that you have less COVID, less inequality, less exploitation. The world looks less like Neofeud where you are, And so I want to, because I know sometimes I get very heated, but it's specifically about the power structures and the systemic violence and sometimes some wrong things in people's head. But ultimately, we hope that We don't reach cyberpunk dystopia like in all the Silver Spook games. That would be really terrible. That's why I make them as cautionary tales. With the exception of Neofeud 2, which will have a lot more positive things to say. It's like a space. The people's what is it? The Planetary Communist Coalition, PCC. Interplanetary Communist Coalition is one of the characters in entities in Neofeud 2. Anyways, until next time, keep your marriage polished. Be excellent